1967. Detroit is burning. President Johnson orders an investigation to find out why. The Kerner Commission concludes that the riots in Detroit and other American cities are rooted in the white problem, institutional racism. Soon after the report is published, Martin Luther King is assassinated. 1 week later, Horace Seldon, a minister and activist in Massachusetts, is driving home after preaching an Easter morning sermon and has an epiphany. He must devote his life to work against white racism. Community change is born. Its core principles: challenge white supremacy. White people need to work with other white people. Follow the leadership of people of color. And provide support for activists and organizations of color, money, meeting space, connections, whatever is needed. CCI stepped in to support Boston's movements, from the struggle to desegregate the Boston public schools, to the role of white-led institutions, to global protest movements, to local community trainings and actions. For decades, CCI has helped to build and strengthen the anti-racism community in Boston. Horace Seldon and Paul Marcus, a successor as CCI executive director, taught a Boston college class on the history of racism in the U.S. for 14 years. Many of their students were inspired to become activists. And CCI's lending library and brown bag lunches made the office a watering hole for people to learn, socialize, and connect. And CCI honored the ordinary people doing extraordinary things to combat racism with the Dry Longso Anti-Racism Leadership Awards, which became an annual community celebration. In 1969, a white person starting an anti-racist organization was a radical act. Horace left us in 2017, but we honor his vision by continuing to act boldly under Shea Stewart Boulay, the first Black woman to lead CCI. As more and more people join the uprising against white supremacy, community change is envisioning new ways to help bring liberation to us all.
Hello. Hi, Brandy.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great. All right. I fixed my microphone situation. Hooray.
Hell yeah. Much like fixing your microphone situation, we're going to fix racism right now tonight, aren't we, Brandy?
Yeah, 3 hours. I mean, I'm excited. I'm in Minneapolis, but I feel like fixing racism in Boston, less chaos than the Minneapolis municipal election. So I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be it's a one done deal kind of thing. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Rachel Andelman. I am a executive producer of 2MB. I'm here with Brandy Brown, Minneapolis comedian, and one of the funniest people I've ever shared a Twitch screen with.
Oh, thank you.
You may have seen Brandy earlier on other shows on our Twitch channel. You may have seen her win, I believe, $450 on Run On, which was our erstwhile word association game show. You were the only one to ever be able to solve the 5 bonus round questions, and that was incredible Twitch television, in my opinion.
Yeah, the last episode ever. I did it.
It was incredible. It was a privilege to be there virtually. But we're not here just to say how cool we are. We're here to host this comedy fundraiser. Brandy, can you tell us a little bit about this comedy fundraiser?
Well, I should probably pull up that information. It is a fundraiser for comedy, and I just assumed that we were going to be raising funds for a social justice organization that's anti-racist, and you're going to hear some fun comedy. I mean, it's in Boston. I don't know. Rachel, I feel like you've got the background here.
Well, I do know the specifics. I'm going to say Brandy got an A+ 100% right in terms of the general deal. This is a comedy show. This is a 3-hour comedy show full of comedians, storytellers, and musicians, by which I mean we have one musician. And they are going to be entertaining you and making you excited to help us raise money for Community Change Inc. You just learned a little bit about them in that short video. They are the parent organization of SURJ Boston, Stand Up for Racial Justice Boston, who are partnering with us tonight. So we're very excited to help them raise money for the anti-racist work they do in Boston and beyond. And to help us get there, we just have a dynamite lineup of some of the funniest comedians that I personally know, that I've met, that I've sent emails to. Brandy, are you, what about tonight are you excited for?
I'm just excited to be reunited with all these Boston comedians. I was in this show last year, and it was a good time. I was only a participant. I wasn't a host. So, yeah, I'm excited to just see everyone, hear some comedy, get back to the Zoom comedy. Had enough of standing up in front of crowds.
Yeah. I think we can all agree the one thing we learned during this plague is that Zoom comedy is better than live comedy, that it's more convenient, you don't have to find parking, and it's easy to tell people to shut up on a Zoom because hecklers usually have their names attached to their video, so you can tell people individually to shut up, which I think is cool.
No one cares if you wear shorts on stage. I am wearing shorts on stage right now. No one's going to bother me about that. It's not going to be a Facebook fight. No.
Yeah. If anything, I will only compliment you on what I assume are really cute shorts.
They are.
So I believe the first person we have up is a really wonderful performer, Marcus Cardona. If you are wearing cute shorts in the chat, let us know. Culottes also, for the purposes of this show, are short, so let us know about those cute cute brief pants you're wearing. Any kind of pants that are to the point, let us know what you're wearing. And our first comedian up is a really wonderful comedian that we've had the pleasure to have on the channel on a few of our different game shows and discussion shows. He is the producer of Cabin Fever in Portland, Maine. He has a Twitch channel at neurotic_fodder. He organized a show earlier this year that raised funds for Stop AAP I Hate, that we partnered with him on that. Please give it up for the one, the only, the Marcus Cardona.
Thank you. Oh my God, what an intro. And also, what a talk about wearing shorts. Because yeah, if you don't know what my costume is, if I stand up, you'll just be like, yo, this guy's Winnie the Poohing it. Just shirt, no pants, just chilling. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me here at 2MB for Community Change Inc. For context, because people are always like, what is your costume? If I make this pose with this fire, it should make sense. But also just I'm going as my millennial spirit animal, pretty much just the spirit animal of everyone who's currently alive right now. It's been an interesting time. Stock market might crash. We don't know. I learned about stocks, and everything I learned about stocks got immediately shattered, mostly because just Dogecoin was a thing, and I had to have that conversation with so many people. I'm happy that this is a Halloween show because it gives me a great excuse to stay in, because before I would definitely have to go to a Halloween costume contest or party, and now I could just be, guys, I have a show. It's very important, and it requires me to put in the minimal amount of effort. Thank you for the chat for saying I'm styling, I'm doing it all. But yeah, I am from Maine. People always like, when I was doing comedy all over, they'd always bring up, hey, this next comedian, he's coming all the way from Maine. And then I'd roll out and people would just be like, they come in that color. I don't know if you guys know, Maine's the whitest state in the United States. It's 98.2% white people. I'm Filipino. It's 0.001% Asian people. So if you're going to power anything on Asians in Maine, you couldn't even start up your smartphone. And that's an old joke. I've been telling that joke since 2011. Back in the day, Maine was the second whitest state in the United States. Then I moved to Brooklyn. People say minorities don't make a difference. I did. Sometimes you just gotta leave. It's really interesting though. Both my parents they're both Filipinos. They like came here separately. They met in Maine. And it's just honestly a miracle that I'm like, first generation, because I'm pretty sure they weren't expecting the American dream for be like, your son's going to go to college and he's going to be a comedian. Like that was definitely not in the agenda, but it happened, It's real interesting having immigrant parents. I don't know if you guys have immigrant parents, but they're always trying to like purebreed their grandkids. It's a very weird dynamic. Like my mom would be like very aggressive with me as a kid. She'd be like, Marcus, we need to find you a nice Filipino woman. And I'm like, Mom, we live in Maine. You got to import me a nice Filipino woman. That's just how that works. I don't know. Give me one with like, Bluetooth. We don't know. But I am happy to be here, man. It's real interesting. It's also real interesting because I currently got thrown back with my parents at 30, which to be honest, I'm just happy because I think that's what happened to Jesus, because Jesus got to 33 and then that was the end of the story. They never talk about what happened in between those years, but I'm pretty sure I'm at the same level as Jesus. But it's been interesting. It's been interesting now because I think that as I grow up as a millennial, you have very different aspects of life. Like what your parents' goals are very different from your current goals. Like the thing that I realized the other day is if I read a real estate listing, that just counts as fantasy fiction for me. That's that genre to me. It doesn't make sense. I'm trying to be more mature. I'm trying to adult. It's just really unfortunate because I'm trying to find more mature friends, and Adult Friend Finder is not that website. They need to rebrand entirely. I don't know if you've been on that website. You'll get adult friends in a different way. It's not what you wanted. It's a mistake. It was a typo. But it's been interesting besides that. I would like to say I'm happy for this cause, just because I do believe in fighting racism, and I believe in all other other causes that you can be a part of. I do enjoy the fact that white people participate in most causes now, mostly because I realize this is that from this last couple of years is that white people like marches a lot, but I also realize they love getting their steps in. I went to the women's march, and I'm a radical feminist. I brought a skateboard to the women's march. Hey, what, bow. But I realized that when we started the march, I was walking next to a woman, and she hit the timer. She got there, and she hit the timer on her watch for when we started marching. And I was like, yo, I know that you're trying. I'm like, we have numerics now. We live in a different time. We can count how many steps it takes for change. It's very weird. You can burn calories, but can you burn racism? We don't know. We'll figure this one out. But yeah, I've been trying to adult. I've been trying to be more mature. One big thing that I realized is as an adult, it's not necessarily, it's more or less adulting. The big thing with adulting is the illusion of being an adult. The other day, I was at a bar with some friends. We were probably watching the Pats game. I have no idea. But I ended up knocking over a drink, and there's a couple different ways, but I'm a millennial. Any millennial, as a mature person, what I did was I walked away from the scene of the crime just to maintain me having my shit together. And I looped around, then I came back to the table as my friends saw the spill. And I'm like, guys, what happened? Because that's all adulting is, just making sure that you know what you're doing. Mark Zuckerberg crashed Facebook, and it's on film. Facebook doesn't crash. And what did he do? He created Meta, which is so meta. What is that? He's like, yeah, reality is pretty whack. I did say that Facebook doesn't crash, but guess what? Let's move on. We're on to the next step. It's going crazy. But yeah, being a millennial is real interesting. I'm going to be telling an abortion joke in a second, but we'll get there, because I want to say, when you do comedy, you're allowed to say whatever dark subject there is, as long as you sacrifice something very willingly. I do this abortion joke a lot, and then I get to usually gauge the crowds at live shows, whether it's a more liberal crowd or more conservative crowd. Like the next joke I'm going to tell, it's either going to be, if you're conservative, it's going to be a terrible abortion joke, or if you're more liberal, it's going to be a brilliant climate change joke. But I want to say I'm an uncle. I really do love my nieces and nephews. I got 3 nieces now: Pippa, Charlotte, Chloe, and I got 1 nephew, Jaden. I love them all. I really enjoy them. And people, like, they see me with these children all the time. And they're like, Marcus, you're so great with children. When are you going to have your own? And I'm like, yo, man, I'm a millennial. I'd rather rent than own. And that's all that being an uncle is. If you're an uncle or aunt to siblings who have kids, basically the whole time that you're responsible, you're just on a lease. Like, as long as there's no damages and you return it, you're good. Like, it's fine. Like, you know, I don't want to own it. But anyway, like I said, I did promise a climate change joke. But yeah, it's gonna, you guys gotta stick with me. I'm really trusting the cause. Like, you know, donate to them, but like, honestly, do what you can for climate change. Like, I try to do as much as I can for climate change. Like, I recycle. I have too many reusable bags. At this point, I'm just hoarding reusable bags. So if you guys don't have reusable bags, just call me. Will bring them to you, because I have too many. I have way too many. It's become kind of a nightmare. I also have metal straws, which I was like, I'm not on board with the straw situation, because, like, you know, straws will crumble. It's a poor design, to be honest. And honestly, like, every time I drop my bag and all my metal straws pour out, it just looks like I love cocaine. That's all that looks like. But yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out what I can do for climate change. I try to do my best. I recycle. I have the metal straws. I do the reusable bags. But I did have a great thing. I did do a great thing last year, which was I drove a friend to an abortion, which is really like the most you can do for climate change. I know this is a completely separate, like, you know, cage, we're fighting racism, but do what you can. Drive your friends to abortions. I told this joke recently, and then I realized, I was like, I did the most that I could. I tried to do the most that I could. I did drive a friend to an abortion clinic, and I think about what I could do more. And the only way I could do more is by, like, giving her a piggyback ride. And that would be the most, right? And that'd be like 2 separate trips. Like, on the trip there, it'd just be like me carrying her, being like, oh man, wow, oh, this is crazy. Like, we all think that we have friends who are going to call us up to get rid of a body. I didn't think it'd be Caitlin, to be honest. I'm like asking her questions. I'm like, someone will call you up, be like, hey, I gotta get something taken care of. And you're like, who is it? And she's like, I haven't named it yet. I was like, okay, that's fair. But yeah, like I said, it'd be 2 separate trips. Like, on the way there, you just have like a lot of like existential thoughts about, like, you know, pro-life, pro-choice. And then on the way back, it'd be a completely separate trip. It'd be like, oh my God, what is the weight of responsibility as like you're piggybacking riding her? And like I said, comedy, I think, is a very curing thing. Again, we take dark subjects and then we make them light. Because, like, one of the greatest tragedies ever written was it's a short one by Edgar Allan Poe. It's Baby Shoes Never Worn. I took that joke, and Baby Shoes Never Worn turns into Carbon Footprint Never Formed. Anyway, guys, my name's Marcus Cardona. Thank you guys for listening to me. Guys, donate to a good cause. Keep watching 2MB Studios. I'm out, and yeah, thank you guys.
Yay! Woo! Brandy, hi.
Hi. So yeah, you'll notice at the bottom on the scroll is everyone's Instagram, Twitter handle. So be sure to follow people there. Are there Venmos or whatever money distributing things up there? I don't know. If they are there, give money. Give the organization
we will
money too.
We will be posting Venmos if they have been giving them to us. Otherwise, you can just go into their DMs on Twitter and just beg them for a way to give them money. I love being like, listen, you haven't told me how to give you money personally. I would like to buy you a coffee. Let me know how to do that. That I strongly encourage with all the performers, just really get into their DMs. Brandy, I assume that people have gone into your DMs to offer you things. You are a very popular Twitter account.
I do not have open DMs. I am not. No, that's reckless behavior, and I don't condone it. No.
Yeah.
People come at me.
Mhm. I do have open DMs because I don't drive enough to speed in the middle of the night without headlights on. So that's what I do to remind myself I'm alive instead.
All right, so sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm getting a hold of this. Just a little excuses have nothing to do with this. I have been doing a major purge of papers, and I found a lot of stuff today. Went through it, and then decided to do a comedy show after going through it. So it's just been a long day. It's been a lot of. I should have planned this out better, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna save Boston from racism. I'm gonna be the one to do it, all the way from Minneapolis in the heartland. Heartland time being Central Time Zone, of course. Yeah. So do we have another performer coming up?
We do. We have another wonderful performer. She has been featured as a comic in residence at the Comedy Studio. She has been a wonderful stand-up, and I love her very much. Please give it up for Miss Diana Lou.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Brandy. Hey, Rich.
Hello.
How's it going? So it's my turn. All right. So since it's Halloween, I decided to tell a sort of spooky story. So when I was a kid, I was really close to my mom's family, which I always knew was my grandparents and my mom and her brother, my uncle. Also, my mom was really overprotective. Like, she'd always say that, like, my dad's parents were really old when they had him, and therefore he has, like, old people's DNA. And because of that, he has a weak constitution. And I also have, like, old DNA and, like, a weak constitution. She'd be like, don't run too fast or you might die, stuff like that. Like, I remember when I was a kid and I wanted to play outside with my friends in the snow, she'd be like, no, don't do that. Go upstairs. And then she would take a bucket, make snowballs herself, put them in the bucket, take them inside to me, and give them to me to throw out of the second story window, which is like very thoughtful, but also not the same as like playing outside in the snow with your friends. So I always thought she was like a little bit much. But then when I was like in my late 20s, I had a physical exam and the doctor told me that I had like a little heart valve, like a very, very minor issue where like one of my valves doesn't close completely and I have like heart backwash. So then I went home to visit my parents later that year. And we were riding in the car and I just happened to, mention that like my doctor discovered this. And my mom, she just like nonchalantly let slip like, oh yeah, that runs in the family. I had a younger sister who died of that. And I was like, what? Excuse me? Because like my entire life, like she has never talked about this at all. So then she just like, oh yeah, and then she tells me the story of how one day when my mom was 8 years old and her sister was 3 years old, they were playing outside, they were running, and her sister says, oh, I don't feel good, I want to stop. And my mom says, no, keep running. And then she keeps running. And then when she looks back, her sister is just like lying on the ground. And then by the time she runs back to her, she's died, which is like such a crazy story that I had never heard about. And my dad is in the car and he's like, yep, that happened. Like everybody knew about this but me. And then we drive home and she shows me, this family photo, which I actually thought I had seen before, and when I saw it as a kid, it was just her parents and her brother. But now this time that I see it, it includes like her sister who's like 3 years old in it. And it's so spooky because when I was a kid, this was like before Photoshop, So I don't know what happened, if it was a different photo or like my mom like airbrushed it out somehow. But sometimes I still wonder, like, how did she make her sister disappear and then reappear like that? It was crazy. That's my story. So I don't know how to that, but I was thinking of making some spooky noises, like ooh, and then back to Brandy and Rachel.
Thank you.
I'm sufficiently spooked. Sufficiently spooked. Well, thank you, Diana.
Thank you very much for sharing that very spooky story.
Thank you. Also, I'm a cat. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Hi. Oh boy. Brandy, have you ever heard such a scary story before?
Yeah, actually, my grandma told me some wild stories. There was one time where apparently she had a dream. She was walking with my mom and like another little boy, and then the moon turned blood red, and then it was just like, also her husband, and the moon turned red, and then the only people left were her and my mom, and turns out my biological grandpa died, and then she also lost a child, so it was really spooky. It was really it's not comedy. It's not funny. It's just really scary.
Oh boy. Well, you know what they say is spookiness and comedy go together like peanut butter and screaming. That's what I've heard. So I'm excited to have some spooks to some laughs, and just I think they have a great combination together. Brandy, are you excited for our next performer?
Yeah, really, they have got a hole to dig out of that we have put them in with these really depressing stories. So yeah, give it up for your next comedian, Kendra Dossie.
Woo!
Hi, everyone. I'm just eating through the depressing stories. That's how you got to get through life.
I agree. Sometimes I eat and then I get depressed and I'm like, thank God I was eating, or else like who knows what would have happened.
I know, right? It's great.
Yeah, we're gonna give you your time, and whether it's spooky or funny.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it will probably be funny. I don't have the attention span for spooky. I'm not good at suspense. I'm not good at writing, unless it's funny. So, but thank you so much, everyone, for watching this, being part of this. Definitely donate. This is a really awesome thing. As you could see, I am dressed like a very comfortable lesbian. That is my Halloween costume this year. I've been it many years in the past. It's great, amazing. But I'm going to talk about other aspects of my life. All right. So also I'm eating the like macaron. It got squished in my bag. It's fine. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know how many people are back in the office right now or going back to the office. I have recently gone back into the office, and to celebrate, my supervisor was like, oh, let's have a work retreat. Let's have a nice little work retreat. And I find work retreats to be a very interesting concept, because work retreats are basically like, you need to spend time with people you already spend 1/3 of your life with, but now you're getting paid to have fun with them. Very interesting, bizarre. But I like to liven things up during all work retreats, try to make it kind of exciting by doing this simple thing. So once I arrive, I make a beeline to the alcohol. I slam down 5 beers in the first hour, and then I start crying uncontrollably about how I have intimacy issues because I ate too much Play-Doh as a kid. You see, it really brings people together. It's amazing. I will explain a little bit about the Play-Doh thing, even if you're not interested, just because it's a good thing to do. It was 1995. Everything was pure and innocent. Clueless had just come out. We did not think Trump would be president, right? Just putting everyone in the mind frame. I was 3 years old. I was sitting next to my friend Jasmine at preschool. Now, Jasmine is a peak biracial girl name. If your name is Jasmine, you are either a Disney princess or your mom is white. There's no difference, all right? Simply no difference. or there is a difference between those two things, but like you're one or the other. So Jasmine herself, her mom was white, her dad was black. She was biracial. And she looked at me and said, "Hey, Kendra, did you know that Play-Doh is very sweet?" And I was like, "No, Jasmine, I had no idea that Play-Doh was sweet." And Jasmine said, "Yeah, it tastes really good. It tastes really good. In fact, the different colors are different flavors, so you should try them all." So upon Jasmine's insistence, I tried some of the Play-Doh, and that Play-Doh was the saltiest thing I had ever put in my mouth at that moment in time because I was 3 years old. It was really salty, but I didn't want to believe that Jasmine had lied to me. So I kept eating all of this Play-Doh. I ate all the different types of Play-Doh. I ate like purple, green, blue, and basically all of them tasted disgusting, and this is why I will never fall in love. I blame all of this on Jasmine. As a light-skinned Black woman, between Jasmine and my mother, they have just like ruined my self-esteem. So Jasmine is out here choosing violence. Back to the present day, I am telling my coworkers this, right? I'm crying just uncontrollably, just bringing everyone down. Everyone who has worked at my company for longer than 2 years is like, "Oh, Kendra's fucking doing this again." They're all very upset. But I feel like the team building exercise is actually everyone getting together to get me to shut the fuck up. All right. That's what I feel like this is. That's what I feel like really brings people together. And there's a prize for whoever decides to drive me home. I throw up in the back of their car. It's amazing. It's a great time. So I talked a little bit about Jasmine as a light-skinned Black woman who has terrorized me. The other one is my mother. First of all, I'm born. Strikes against her already. Second, the other day, I was looking at my parents' wedding photos, and my parents were got married in the 80s. Their outfits were wild. My mom had a poofy, she had the big 80s shoulders, and she was wearing a mermaid dress. There were sequins on the front, right? And then of course she had a train. She looks like she basically had to like go like this down the aisle because she couldn't even like go down. She didn't have an afro. Someone commented, "We love a fro." I love fros too. My mom, she had hair as straight as, as straight as people who like Celine Dion. I don't know. I know Celine Dion kind of is with the gays because she's like associated with Titanic, but there's also a lot of like straight middle-aged moms. Anyway, but also, I also want to blame my mom. My dad's outfit, you may say that's misogyny, but I say they're both culpable, right? My dad's outfit was all white. He wore a white top hat, white tux, with white pants, white shoes, white bow tie. And the worst part is the suit had tails. He wore a white tux with tails. And I just feel like that's a lot of fashion faux pas. Like, first of all, I know it was the 80s. They might have been doing coke, but I feel like that doesn't excuse all of it. Second, my dad's outfit was basically just screaming like, "I want people to know I am a pure nerd virgin," right? Like he just wanted to let everyone know. And no one was really asking for all that information. I know I am doing this set before you all hear, but I feel like my dad still is a nerd virgin. Do you know what I mean? Like, why was he wearing all white? You know, why wear that much white? I also, in general, I'm not really into the like white for weddings anyway. White's not a great color. I would love to wear red to represent all of the periods I've had because my uterus will be permanently unfertilized. Or my eggs or whatever. Yeah, whatever. I have the parts. I don't get it. Anyway, that being said, I am gay. I know I mentioned that okay, my dad's name is Tony. I saw Tony Stanza's commented and I was like, oh no, my dad knows that bit. I did ask him for photos of his wedding, of like him and my mother's wedding, but he does not know why yet. I'm making the bit really strong so he doesn't get mad at me for calling him a nerd virgin. Anyway, so another thing is Yeah, so I want to wear something. I want to wear something that represents just like, the red of all the periods I've had, of all the hymens that I have been honored to have people let me tear, right? I like red. I feel like I look good in red too. My bride could wear whatever the hell she wants, like tie-dye, rainbow, whatever. It doesn't have to be serious. But also I do want, my one thing my mom has said about weddings that's very stressful, sounds very stressful to me, is that so many people were like expecting her to do things the entire like day. And basically she didn't feel like it was a day for her, even though it was her own wedding, right? She was like, oh, like my dad wanted me to do this. This part of the family wanted me to do this. After the ceremony, I had to go around and say hi to everyone because everyone was expecting me to be really like, happy and excited and all of that. But I feel like weddings shouldn't be like that, right? Weddings should be nice. Weddings should be about you, about the person who is getting married. And if you want to storm into your wedding, slam down 5 beers in the first hour, and then start crying uncontrollably about how you have intimacy issues because you ate too much Play-Doh as a kid, you should be able to do that for your wedding, okay? You should be able to do that. Make all the people attending your wedding uncomfortable and get those motherfucking gifts on your registry. Because how the fuck else am I going to get a Vitamix if I don't get hitched up to someone? All right. Thank you, everyone. That is my set. I'm going to bring it back to everyone here. Yeah. Hi.
Thank you, Kendra.
Yeah, definitely follow Kendra on social media. It was all along the screen there. And then also be sure that you donate to the reason for the season. Obviously, that is not candy. It's just a coincidence. The real reason for the season is to fix racism in Boston.
Yeah.
And Rachel, where can they go and donate?
They can go to donate at the tiny URL in the Twitch chat right now, also featured below my giant face. Go to that tiny URL and you will be able to help us end racism in Boston. And we're only slightly exaggerating, just a little bit. But again, we are we are raising funds for Community Change Inc. that they are in charge of so much anti-racist work in Boston, anti-racist education, anti-racist advocacy, and solidarity work. And they've been doing it since 1968, which is many years before I was born, because I was born after 1968.
What?
I know. I know. I don't look. I look very old. You're like, she's 100 years old, but I actually was born after 1968.
I believe that's like the year my mom graduated from college. So, but the website is tinyurl.com/SURJBCCI. That's not a 1, it's an I, 21. 21. So definitely give them some money. At the top of the hour, we will be telling you how much they've raised. We'll be shaming you for not ending racism in Boston. And yeah. Who's our next performer?
Our next performer is a wonderful person. She has been on, she has been really great on our channel. She's been great outside of our channel. She has been credited in the Black Women in Comedy Festival. She has written in Vulture, which makes me jealous, and the Interrobang. She's also hosts a monthly inclusive open mic called The Rough Draft, and she's coming to All She Wrote Books in Somerville. So a credit as long as one of those CVS receipts. Just an incredible human being, funny, smart, and nice. Give it up for Ama Marfo.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. I, for one, am excited to be doing Zoom comedy again because now I am not startling people, which I hear is a thing that's happening. Yeah, Slate magazine put out an article about people with tall Zoom energy startling their coworkers when they meet them in real life. Now, most of you will never know that I am 5'1", I am a small woman, and apparently that is freaking people out. So I'm excited to just get to sit and no one's going to yell at me about being shorter than they thought I was, like it was my fault.
You need to get a trampoline and just dunk on them. That's
I love trampolines. That's the best solution anyone's brought up yet. So thank you, Brandy. I am
That's why
getting
I'm here.
it.
I'm just here making everyone's life better, fixing racism in Boston, and dunking on coworkers. Those are my expertise areas.
I'm going to work expense that because I feel like they framed it as a professional issue. I'm expensing it from work.
I'm excited to see the video of you on the trampoline.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to filming it. All right. So, hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Excited to be at home. My dinner is right there, and I'll get to have it when I'm done. So I'm pretty pumped. So let's get into it. We have to stop asking people how their quarantine was, how their lockdown was, how their pandemic was. No, thank you. I really think there are only two answers to that question: tired and sad. That's it. Some days I was more sad than I was tired. Other days I was more tired than I was sad, but I really don't know what else you want from me in terms of an answer. So I've stopped asking. I'm hoping other people will stop asking. But what I decided to do instead was ask people, what's an experience maybe you had that you wouldn't have gotten if we hadn't had the lockdown or something like that? And I've been liking those answers a lot better. People feel less pressure to pick something good. People are kind of more open and they get to reflect on good things that happen. So I'll give a couple examples of how I answer it when the question's turned around on me. Let's see. I will say, in addition to the lockdown that happened to happen during last summer's racial uprisings, and it was real lucrative to be Black for like 2.5 weeks, even if you didn't do anything. There was this period where a lot of white people recognized that something was wrong, but all of the books they needed to know how to fix it were sold out. So they had to wait. And in the meantime, apparently somebody had a conversation about just send the Black people you know money. So I just started getting requests or getting things come in. People would say like, here's $20, here's $30, here's $5, $6.17 on Juneteenth. That was a fun one. And it was just weird because of all of the charity work that was going on and of all the foundations and organizations, including the one we're here for tonight, several people in my life just said, yeah, I could donate to an organization, but I think the girl that I worked work study with in college at the library might want ice cream today. And like that was the calculus that we got. And I didn't keep any of it. It just didn't feel right to keep it. So as soon as I was getting this money in my Venmo, I was turning it around to other organizations. So what I'm assuming was compensation for having to do extra work just turned into more work, which was frustrating, especially on Juneteenth, because I'm supposed to be free. And what are you doing? You're making me work. BJ, keep your white goat money. I'm not saying my way was the right way or the wrong way to do it, but for me, it was like, just send it out the door. So yeah, for a situation where we were acknowledging people having to do extra labor, I just ended up with extra labor. So that part I didn't love. What else? I bought skates because everybody on Instagram bought skates and it felt like a great idea. Like, you're not going outside very much. You've got to get out more. You've got to be exercising. Go do it. It was not the great idea that I thought it was. I am too old for skates and no one on Instagram is posting their falls. It kind of feels like a Dorian Gray situation where everybody on Instagram is just skating flawlessly and one person in Boston is taking all of their falls on their behalf. I can't really do this. I don't care for it. And at some point, it's going to go beyond the padding that I have. And then I'm going to have to go into my office, a woman in her 30s, and explain a skinned knee that I got from skating. It's embarrassing. And I did not think it all the way through. And yet I'm not even convinced that having skates or the skate part of it is going to be the thing that kills me. Because the third day that I had these skates, I'm teetering around the back of the neighborhood, just trying to stay up because I think that's the biggest danger I have to face. It wasn't. A turkey wanders in front of me, plants, looks me in the eyes, like into my soul, and poops. That turkey's going to kill me, right? Like, there's no other outcome for that. Like, I'm gone. I'm dead. So basically that happened and I just teetered my way back in the house because there was no going up from there. I was done. And I wouldn't be so convinced that that was going to be so ominous if I wasn't like 90% sure that the turkeys in my neighborhood have already killed. I'll tell you what I saw. You can let me know what you think. So earlier in the spring, I was trying to take daily walks because it was nice out. We were starting to feel like you can go outside without masks. So I would just take long walks to be outside. And I walk up on my neighbor's house, and there are 6 turkeys huddled in a circle on the lawn. I don't know if I interrupted an AA meeting or a craps game or what, but all 6 of them kind of turn and look at me. Now, when 6 creatures that are descended from dinosaurs all turn and look at you like that, you just keep it moving. It doesn't matter how badly you wanted to be on the path that you were on, you now have to be somewhere else. That's just what's going on. So like a week and a half later, I passed by that same house, 13 turkeys on the lawn and a for sale sign. What did they do? Like, what happened? I mean, I'm really only imagining 2 outcomes where the neighbors are inside and they see what's going on outside and they're like, we have to go. Or that horde of turkeys basically just stared them down and was like, you have to go. But whatever the reasoning, they had to get their way out. And yeah, that's not the type of energy that I was willing to kind of consider. Like, I am already a highly anxious person. I don't need that on my conscience. So I've moved. I live somewhere different now. It wasn't entirely because of the turkeys, but like, it doesn't hurt. And what also doesn't hurt is that the turkeys in my new neighborhood, I had a hint that they were actually a little bit cooler than the ones that I was living around. Someone sent me a video from, I think it was only in Boston, it's Instagram, of 2 turkeys on a lawn in Brookline shooing an Amazon delivery man off of the lawn and into his truck. I love that energy. First of all, I love a bird where we don't think a bird is going to be. It's one of my favorite things. But also, it just feels like the energy that we need at this late stage of capitalism. Like, all of us are talking about eat the rich, but these turkeys are prepared to do it. And I respect the shit out of that. And it's hard. You know, it's hard being in that situation where it's like when you decided that you hate somebody and then you find out that you actually have something in common and you're like, well, shit, now I have to rethink everything. This is that. Like, I was fully prepared to hate these turkeys, but we both want Amazon to have a pretty significant downfall. So I don't know. I'm still a little bit stuck about it. I'm pretty sure that that's how I'm going to go. Like, if you hear of me turning up dead in the street, it will be because of turkeys. But you should also know I have been murdered by somebody that I respect. And isn't that really all we want in this world? Just to be able to be lying, maybe bleeding. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how they did it. But in those dying breaths, just being like, I don't like this. Damn it. I respect it. And that's what's going to happen to me. But yeah, so now I'm starting to look to not the other side of the pandemic. We're still in it, but bright spots. And one of those bright spots is that I finally get to go see my parents. I haven't seen them in over 2 years. They live overseas in Ghana, so it wasn't an easy thing to be able to get to them. So I'm excited to finally hang out with my mom and dad. And especially because it's not just that we have a lot of fun and I just come from funny people, but my mom is one of my biggest fans and my favorite comedian. So to leave you all, I'm going to leave you with the joke that won me over to her side as my favorite comedian. A single joke that she told about 5 years ago, and no one will ever beat it. So we were at the Sinclair in Cambridge for brunch, and I was with a couple of friends, and we're at that level of bougie, if you've never been to the Sinclair, where we're discussing waffle flights. And my friends are trying to figure out if there's a berries and cream, banana nut, and chicken and waffles, how do you choose what order to eat them in? And then we start the sweet, savory, sweet, salty debate. And my friend Meg in particular goes, well, sometimes you want to eat a handful of pretzels and then like 3 M&Ms. Now, my mom, among the most literal people on the face of this earth, immediately goes to Meg, well, why 3 M&Ms? And like that 13-year-old me that's like, when your parents say something that's embarrassing that wants to shrink, is losing it. But Meg handled it great. She's just said, because 2 is too few, 4 is too many sometimes. I thought we were done with the conversation. So like 45 minutes later, we've got our food, everybody's eating, we're having other conversations, we're having a great time. And I'm talking to Meg about the show Review. Now, if you've never seen Review, it used to be on Comedy Central. All you need to know for the purposes of this joke is that they had 3 seasons of 10 episodes each. And then that last season was 3 episodes long. Those of you that are good at math, don't get ahead of me. So Meg is losing her mind about this. Just can't believe it. She's like, they normally have 10 episodes. And I was like, Meg, I know. And she's like, but this season they only had 3 episodes. And I was like, I know. I told you that. And then just at her wit's end just goes, well, why were there only 3 episodes? My mom, from the other side of the table, uninvolved in this conversation, just looks up and goes, because 2 would have been too few and 4 would have been too many. And then goes back to eating her eggs like it wasn't the best fucking thing that she could have said. Like, no one's ever going to top that. Like, other people are pretty talented. I may never top it. And frankly, that's a little bit embarrassing. But as we leave this, I want to say thank you all for being here. Please donate and then go call your mom because she is going to love it. Yes, give my mom a Netflix special. She's shown high potential and I think she could do great. So thanks, everybody.
Woo. Thank you, Ama. Oh my God, it's so nice to hear about Review again. Review, I remember watching it on Comedy Central and thinking, this is a perfect show. I will never see a better show than this. Brandy, have you seen Review?
I have not seen Review. I've heard of it, but I could name a better show, and that would be this comedy show. Obviously, outstanding. I have experience with turkeys. It is very relatable. I also have experience with white people giving me money, and honestly, not enough. Not enough. Look, I'll do the work, which is cashing the check for reparations. So go ahead, give me money, give this organization money. They're going to probably flash it up on the screen. And let's take on those turkeys, too. We've got a turkey problem here in Minneapolis, too. We're going to be defunding the police and turkeys. Those are our 2 priorities in Minneapolis. And then hopefully abolishing ranked choice voting. No, that's not what anyway.
Turkeys, I agree, they are a menace. It's hard for me to hate them entirely because anything that's that big but their head is like that small, to me is very funny. So even if I were being murdered, I'd be like, this is kind of, this is like a satire. This is very funny to me. I'm sad to be dying, but it's funny that it's happening.
They really do make a mockery of the dinosaur culture. So yes, that is an outstanding satire. The Daily Show of dinosaurs, if you will.
The Daily Show of dinosaurs. You may have noticed that there is another brand new, fresh, right out of the oven link to the donation button. That's tinyurl.com/SURJBCCI21, SURJ Boston, CCI, who we're giving money to, 21 because it's 2021, the year after the worst year ever, and maybe slightly better than last year. Brandy, would you say that your 2021 has been slightly better than your 2020, or do you feel like it's been worse or the same?
I think they've been, I mean, honestly, I had a pretty decent 2020, and so, like, you know, it's going up. Obviously, it's better. I can go outside now. The turkeys, you know, I'm batting them away. So, you know, it's pretty good, pretty good. So who we got coming up next?
Next, we have a wonderful comedic performer. He's been on the channel. He is a showrunner for a trivia show we have every other Friday called Whatever It Takes. He also appears on 69 Minutes of Sex with Me. He's also just a fabulous human being. Please give it up for BJ Geranima. Hello.
Oh, whoa. You've woken me up. This is the second time this evening I've been woken up. First time was by this ruffian, called itself the Ghost of Christmas Past, telling me I shouldn't be as stingy with my money and I should give my workers, what did he say? Like labor rights and time off. I'm not going to do that. Late stage capitalism has been great. I'm not going to do that.
That would really eat into your funds for AirPods, wouldn't it?
Yes. Ebenezer Scrooge needs to have his AirPods.
And the candle budget, clearly. I mean, you've got overhead lighting, yet using a candle. You're just blowing money. A lot of disposable income, clearly.
Yeah. But I guess, since I'm here, I can, tell some jokes, tell some stories. Maybe that'll put me back to sleep.
Well, you're happy to try to fall asleep by telling jokes on our station, on our special. Give it up for BJ Geranima.
Hey, I just moved to New York City. I moved to New York City because being a black guy in Boston was too much. So I said, you know what's easy? being a black guy in New York City, baby. It's been good. It's been nice. Actually, my parents, they came down with my grandma a couple weeks back. Did they come down to see me? No, of course not. They're African. They went to shop at the in Midtown and buy some church clothes from some Israeli dudes. That's the immigrant experience. That's the immigrant experience. But my wife and I, we were like, hey, we want to meet up with them. So we went up to Manhattan and we told them, hey, let's get some lunch, let's hang out. And they've never been to Brooklyn. We live in Brooklyn, and I was like, hey, let's show them Brooklyn. Told my dad we're going to go to a trendy neighborhood. Told him we're going to go to Williamsburg. Ooh, Williamsburg. Now, a little bit of a tangent. I don't live in Williamsburg. I live in Crown Heights. I live in Crown Heights because, unlike my character, I am one, poor, two, black, and three, I like a little bit of crime in my neighborhood. It spices things up, you know? um, but yeah, I told my dad we're going to go to a trendy neighborhood to eat. We're going to go to Williamsburg. My dad, he's driving. He looks me in the eye. He says, what do you mean by trendy? Gay. At this moment, I'm just stunned. I'm stunned. My wife is in the back seat laughing her wig off. My grandma is chuckling. My mom is looking at my grandma, yelling at her, telling her, why are you laughing? You don't even know what he said. My grandma is like, I heard what he said. Gay. And I'm in a tough spot here, you know? Here's what you gotta know about my dad. For an African pastor, I wouldn't say he's homophobic, but he's definitely not an ally. And I don't want to lie to him, right? I don't want to tell him anything. And what my dad's meant by trendy wasn't what I meant, but I gotta say, he was pretty spot on. Williamsburg is pretty gay, which is great. It's just not great for me in this car. So I gotta think, how do I answer this? I tell him Williamsburg has a lot of artists. Has a lot of artists. You see, that's smart because it keeps the peace. But secretly tells him, yeah, Williamsburg is pretty gay, bro. You know? But everything was good. We got some food. We got some Venezuelan food. My parents liked it. My dad loved it. He loved the food. And guess what? He loved it so much that he's moving to Williamsburg. And guess what? He came out of the closet. He's gay. It's awesome. This is a story about triumphing over toxic masculinity. I'm also glad that my parents and my family don't watch any of my comedy because they would have hated that joke. Hey, it's Halloween. I hope that you're having a great time. I hope that you enjoy Halloween. I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. I think it's one of my favorite holidays because when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to celebrate it. My parents, they like, how do I put this? They like the Trinity Broadcast Network. And if you're not familiar with Christian media, what I'm trying to say is they are very Christian. They're also very much Zimbabwean immigrants. So they're not really down with Halloween. To be quite honest, they're not really down with a lot of American things. I'll give you an example. Harry Potter. When I was a kid, Harry Potter was the biggest thing. Every street corner you could see kids playing Harry Potter. They had their capes and everything. They were trading the books, but not me. I wasn't allowed to read the books. I wasn't allowed to watch the movies. Except in the 5th grade when my teacher assigned a Harry Potter book. Woo! I was excited. I was so happy. You know, I was ready to get oval glasses. I was ready to learn all the spells. I was even going to engrave a scar on my head like I was joining a prison gang. Azkaban or die, motherfucker. You know how it is? Well, my mom found that book. And she burned that motherfucker to the ground. Yeah, she burned it down in front of my virginal eyes. Worse yet, she scheduled a parent-teacher conference with my teacher for the next day. And before I knew it, I was enrolled in St. Mary's Catholic School in Shrewsbury, Mass. If you don't know about St. Mary's, one, it's white. 2, it's wealthy. And 3, they are very much against Harry Potter. Now I'm like in the 5th grade. I'm reading Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom. And y'all, we're all here to celebrate social justice and raise for a great cause. And no one's better than that than Nelson Mandela. Love Nelson Mandela. My family's literally South African. One of the reasons why we are free. But for a 5th grader, yeah, that thing does not slap. Like it's not fun. I'm trying to learn about wizards and shit, not about social justice. It just is what it is. But yeah, that's why now I go crazy for Halloween. Love Halloween, love doing it. And the only thing is that, the kids in my neighborhood think it's weird that I, a 28-year-old childless man, goes trick or treating. But you know what? I don't care because I've watched the movies. I've seen the book. I've watched the movies. I've read the books, and I get to dress up like Cedric Diggory every single year. That's right. I'm a Hufflepuff, bitch. I'll leave you with one more thing, and don't forget to donate. We're doing great stuff for SURJ here. We're trying to, bring anti-racism into Boston and the New England area. But I just moved to Brooklyn, like I said earlier. I got my hair cut. It was great. I was vibing with my barber. We're talking. We're doing everything. And he goes, "Hey, I've never seen you around the neighborhood." I tell him, "Oh, I just moved to here." He asked me, "Where from?" I said, "Boston." That was a mistake. He stopped cutting my hair. He turned off the music. J. Cole was playing. And this man put on Ed Sheeran. Come on, man. I'm still a black man. I'm still a nigga. Like, what are you doing? He did it because he said he wanted to make me feel more comfortable. And you know what the worst thing is? I am from Boston, and I did go to St. Mary's Catholic School, so yeah, it did make me feel more comfortable. Shape of You is my jam. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Y'all, my name is BJ Geranima. Don't forget to donate. Don't forget to stay on the stream. There's amazing comments coming up. Thank you so much for being here.
Woo!
Yay! I just want to shout out to BJ's mom, who's a pioneer in being like, "Fuck J.K. Rowling." Truly, she is. Your mother is the blinking VCR clock of America. Correct, incidentally, twice. So
Ahead of her time.
Kudos. Tell your mother kudos, and hooray.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ed Sheeran, who can say anything about him? I don't know a single thing about Ed Sheeran. I'm sure I've heard his songs, but I feel like they are designed to be forgotten as soon as you hear them.
Look, I had an ex who looked just like Ed Sheeran to drunk people, and it was an adventure. At one point, my mom had to explain to my little cousin that the photo of actual Ed Sheeran that was in a billboard was not my, at the time, boyfriend. He was not just randomly plastered around being promoted by radio stations. But what if he was? What a treat that would have been for him.
I've always thought it would be funny to become famous by accident, or to be mistaken for someone famous. I'm still waiting for someone to look like me to become famous. Hasn't happened yet, but wouldn't it be fun to have a billboard that looked just like you? Certainly a novelty.
Do we have an update on donations? I am not seeing it, but I'm being told there's one.
I do believe we do have an update on our donations. I believe that we have a goal. Everyone at home know that we have a goal of $8,500 in total. So far, we have raised, we are up to $6,900 and $70 in addition to that. So we are on our way to the goal. We've made $200 so far during the show. So we're trying to get to $8,500. We're a little less than $1,000 right now. So we're trying to breach that gap. So if you are feeling generous or just in the mood to say suck it to racism, and when are you not in the mood? Get in the mood right now and help us raise the rest of that money.
Look, like let's set a goal in the next, let's say, 20 minutes of y'all donating. Let's get $500 more at least. Listen, I've got a hard stop on fixing racism in Boston at 8 p.m. Central Time. A Succession comes on. It's just white people being terrible. It is delightful. And don't be the terrible white people who make me late to watching the terrible white people. So definitely fix racism. Let's get $500 more in the next 20 minutes. Let's do that. Please, where can they donate, Rachel?
They can donate at tinyurl.com/SurjBCCI21. That's Surge B for Surge Boston, CCI for Community Change Inc., and 21 for the year 2021, which is the year that racism in Boston ends.
All right. We've got a very, very special, it looks like an experimental theater group. Ooh. Tell me more about that, Rachel. Let's bring them up.
Riot X is a Boston-based improv theater, and they also do some wild things. They do really cool shows. Definitely stop there if you're in Boston, and they have created just for us, for the purposes of helping us and racism, but in Boston, they have created an experimental short film, which I am so excited to watch. Is it going to be spooky? I assume it is, so get prepared to get spooked. Let's see that film.
The Murder Basement play, go. On April 18th, 1955, Albert Einstein, feeling that life was abandoning him, uttered his last few words to the nurse that was taking care of him in his hospital room in New Jersey, and then died. The problem, of course, is that he spoke in German, a language that his nurse did not speak. So we have no idea what he said. He could have been solving the biggest mysteries of the universe, and we'll never know. And so as I am now in the murder basement, I'm wondering, what are the things that I really want the world to know? If these were my last few words before the murder basement, does what the murder basement does, what is that I really want to share? Okay, here goes. I actually really liked the Ghostbuster movie from a few years ago, the all-female one. It didn't ruin my childhood, and I just think it's a product of its time, like the original ones were. And even though the CGI was bad, and I agree with that, seeing Chris Hemsworth as a sexy secretary and watching Kyle McKinnon leak her gun kind of made me feel a whole range of emotions that I wasn't really expecting from that kind of movie. I even watched it twice. Feels good to share. Well, now I just need to hope that the murder basement lives up to its name, or I will have to live with the consequences. Curtain.
Oh, that was a cliffhanger, wasn't it?
Yeah, much like will racism get fixed in Boston? So many cliffhangers. So many. Stressing me out.
Stop stressing Brandy out. Help us solve the problem of racism before the end of the show. Help us get to $8,500, or Brandy will be stressed out, too stressed out to watch Succession, which, as we already know, is a stressful show.
It's very stressful. It is gritty. Succession is just gritty family circus, and those children stress me out very much with their large heads and their lack of humor. So please. Let's get 500 more in the next, let's say, 10 minutes. I am not looking at the clock. I'm just making arbitrary demands on your time, as is my right as a Black person in America. So give us money. Let's fix racism in Boston.
And let us know if you want to hear Brandy compare more things to Family Circus. I'm sure that she can, and she will do it.
I got a set coming up in hour 3. Unless it runs into Succession, in which case I'm just going to be live narrating Succession. So
perfect. Either way, you're going to hear a lot about a family that's effed up to the extreme. But now we're going to take a brief break from all the comedy. We're going to do a check-in with some people who know what they're talking about. As funny as we are, it's fun to bring in experts, and we're going to bring in Kyle and Deb, and they work with the Knapsack Anti-Racism Group in SURJ Boston, and these are both programs for community change. There's an audio situation going, and I don't know whose it is.
Yeah, we're gonna fix racism and that audio. We're gonna fix both of those.
Cool. So sometimes we have people who know so much about how to stop racism in Boston, and also sometimes audio just does not say yes to helping us do that.
Let's try to bring them back. Let's see if it's their fault. I don't know.
Whose fault is it? We're about to find out.
Do you know what? We'll tell you whose fault it is if you guys can raise $100 in the next, let's say, 5 minutes. We'll blame someone.
Give us $500 and you can blame me, even though, not to brag, but my audio issues have been none. I've had no audio issues for this entire show. I'm pretty proud of myself.
I wish Ben were here to have audio issues for us. That's just a throwback for the
Hello, Kyle.
Thanks everyone for buying some time there till we got straightened out.
Yay.
Sure, buying time is the one thing I can afford.
Cool. So one of the reasons I was having some difficulty like getting my audio straightened out is because I was leaning out of the window because there's a mother and a child who sleep outside on the next to the building, and I know that because it's really cold tonight, they will die if we don't raise $500 in the next 10 minutes. So, okay, never mind. Maybe pushing the comedy debut a little too hard. Okay. So Deb is a close friend of mine, and we partner together with Boston Knapsack Anti-Racism Group, and we hold a space that I'm probably going to tell you a little bit about shortly, my role in it, and the connection to CCI. I'll just leave space for Deb to give an introduction on Deb's own behalf.
Hi. I'm a SURJ Boston active member also, and I also organize and facilitate meetings in Boston Knapsack Anti-Racism Group. We call it Knapsack for short. And Kyle's been facilitating and organizing with us for almost a year. And we just make space to have conversations and build community. And we appreciate the support that CCI has given us. In fact, Myrna is the founder of Knapsack over 10 years ago, and she was working at CCI at the time, and both her and Shay, the director, have been very supportive of me as the lead organizer for helping me to better my leadership skills and build the community of Knapsack organizers and facilitators that we have now, which is a great group. It includes Kyle. And both Knapsack and SURJ Boston is under the umbrella of CCI. So we're part of the programming that they do, that they support. So it's been really great to be in relationship with CCI.
That's awesome.
So what kind of things do you use this money for, and what kind of programs do y'all have?
Well, SURJ Boston has a much bigger budget than Knapsack does. And we use it for all kinds of things, including our closed captioning for our meetings where we plan and do our activism organizing. As white people, mostly white people showing up for racial justice, that's SURJ. In Knapsack, they pay for our meetup group, which I put a link. I don't know if anybody's available to put our meetup group in the banner. So they pay for our meetup group, and Then we do a lot of passing the hat of our participants who come to meetings to fundraise, to help to pay for our facilitators of color. We've started doing that since May, and maybe Kyle would like to speak a little bit about that as one of them.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy to speak to that. It's a tradition that's very new and has been particularly useful for me, in that I don't have a very formal education, and my my personal experiences of, like, being someone who grew up in prison, underage, charged as an adult, who was greatly disempowered in that way. It's been my experience that society doesn't tend to value the things that I do well, the things that I value and am gifted at. So one of those things has been outreach and very consistent support. I'm sure support for unsheltered people. I'm sure some of y'all probably know about that. I'm sure a lot of y'all probably gave to that campaign, and I appreciate it. But yes, so in a little bit of my growth in this space and of anti-racism and of leadership, and just a real life example of an organization empowering people of color to actually do what they're sometimes uniquely well positioned to do, is modeled in my relationship with Knapsack, and obviously its support from CCI. So thanks a lot for listening, Deb. If you'll, I'll pass it back to you.
Brandy, I really appreciate the goal of ending racism in the next 90 minutes. Man, that could free up a lot of my time.
Yeah, I mean,
I love that idea. Thank you.
Look, I mean, we've got Insecure, we've got Succession, HBO TV alone tonight. It's got to be done by in 90 minutes. I just don't have time to continue with racism.
I'd like to party with you afterwards if we could arrange that.
Absolutely.
Also, are there any last words you'd like to share with the people who may or may not have heard of these organizations before we say goodbye to you? Any last parting thoughts about how important raising this money is for your organization and the work that you do?
Oh, it's huge. Our work is done from donors and volunteers. So anything that people could do to help to redistribute your income, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Rachel, where can people follow you?
Where can people follow me? Well, they can follow me on Twitter at RAJ Andelman. That's my Twitter account. And Brandy, where can people follow you?
They can follow me on Twitter. I'm probably going to lock after tonight because I've got a 9 to 5 and I be tweeting. It's the Brandy, ITS, the Brandy with an I. That's my Twitter. That's my Instagram. I literally only post cat pictures on Instagram, so just, whatever. My Venmo, all my stuff, it's the Brandy. So give us a follow if you want. But most importantly, I need you to fix racism in the next 90 minutes.
Brandy needs you to fix racism. I need Matt to fix how my handle is spelled. We all need to fix something, and we're going to fix it by the end of this show. So moving right along, we have a new stand-up to... We are all doing our best, as Matt likes to remind me. We have a stand-up for you. She is wonderful. She is amazing. She has had a long-running show on here called The Rehash. She is... just one of the funniest people I've probably ever met. She has so many credits from her podcast called Norm, a Cheers podcast. She's headlined Nick's Comedy Stop in Boston, the Ruby Room at the Shaskeen. She's headlined the Rebel Head Comedy at Remnant Brewery. That's coming up actually on November 3rd. If you want to see her at Remnant Brewing, see her November 3rd. Give it up for the teacher, the comedian, the stand-up, and just someone who's just a wonderful person. Give it up for Tookie Kavanaugh. Tookie, you are on mute.
Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted.
Check the drip, ranch dressing in the motherfucking house.
Thank you for honoring my Midwestern heritage with her costume. Thank you.
Thank you for recognizing real, recognize real. Ranch dressing in the building.
A superior dip.
Yes, indeed. The dip and the drip and okay, it's joke time. All right, I gotta oh God, Lord, I have to be mildly entertaining for the next 10 minutes. I am so sorry, but hi, hello, happy Halloween. I'm in the spirit. I'm feeling good. It's yeah. All right. Are y'all hyper aware? This is a fundraiser to end racism, and I'm just hyper aware, man. I'm hyper aware of anything that feels racist. You know what I'm saying? It feels okay. Because it's October, and that's the time of year when Facebook kind of figures out I'm black, and I get targeted ads for very specifically black Halloween costume characters, you know what I'm saying, not necessarily the ranch dressing, but very. All right, so let me tell you, right? Okay, I got a targeted ad for a costume of Little Kim's very iconic outfit from the VMAs when she had one boobie out, and it has a seashell pasty, which I'm like, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for recognizing that in the community, we have a saying that goes, "Hoes don't get cold." So yeah, shout out to whoever recognized that for targeting me with that particular costume. That's a very specifically black costume. A costume I got advertised after that was King Jaffe Joffer. That is James Earl Jones's character from Coming to America. That's a very specifically black Halloween costume. And I'm like, all right, okay, cool. I feel seen. The costume I got advertised after that was a couple's costume of the Jamaican bobsled team from Cool Runnings. And I was like, okay, cool. I too am a yardie. This is of my culture. I feel seen. This is great. But then the costume I got advertised after that was of the Kool-Aid Man. And that, you know what I'm saying? It feels racist. I don't know. I'm just hyper aware. I don't know. It feels ranch dressing. I'm up here struggling. Please send help. Can you tell? I'm ranch dressing. I am married to a white man. These are my options. These are my options. I'm scared. Okay. Chat, how we feeling? I don't know how many folks are watching tonight, watching me be the worst, do the most on the internet. But here I am. I don't know about all of you, but I want to just I really want to solve racism for the fact that it's going to help me not have to deal with woke thirst traps anymore. You know what I'm saying? Especially after last year, just with the protests and everything, just all the stuff that went down. I got to deal with woke thirst traps. If you're on Instagram, right? You know what a thirst trap is. And somebody posts a seductive photo of themselves, just civil engineer on a Tuesday, double cheeked up on a Thursday, right? Okay. But the people I can't stand are the people who spent a year in lockdown, getting fit, doing their crunches, getting quarantined. Very rude of anybody to get abs during lockdown, by the way. It's mad disrespectful. But they also went to a couple Black Lives Matter protests, so they don't know what to do with their newfound hotness and their newfound white guilt. And they pollute my news feed as a result, right? Because I'll be minding my business, scrolling through the timeline, right? But then there'll be that one dude posting a photo of himself, lifting up his shirt ever so slightly to show off that V-line between his abs and his crotch. But then the caption will read, Malcolm X once said, the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most underprotected person in America is the black woman. And I'm just sitting here like, why are you trying to advocate for my civil rights with your shirt off? Make it make sense, right? Do you want racial equity or to seduce me? I'm trying to understand. But what's worse is when you fall for the thirst trap and you double tap and hit the DMs and they're like, you know who else is thirsty? All the people who can't afford access to clean water in Flint, Michigan. Delete, please leave. I hate it here. I do. I really hate it here. All the, just the and I have to say, racism in Boston, especially, it's this whole special topic, ain't it? I've had a time dealing with it myself, just because like I'm a mixed person. You can't quite tell because I look like my mom. It's great. It's fine. But growing up mixed, it was harder for me. I have had childhood was hard in general. I have had the same size head since I was 3 years old. But it was hard for me because I was a lot more ambiguous looking as a kid. So kids couldn't quite figure me out. Like girls in my class, they come to me like, what are you? I'm a human being with feelings, right? They'd be like, but what are you? And I'd be like, I'm mixed. My mom and dad are from different places, and they'd be like, well, I'm mixed too. I'm French and Dutch and British and German and Scottish, Welsh and Irish, and I'm like, that's 32 types of white, right? 7 of which are from the same island. I feel like you missed the memo on mixed race, and I have to say, my biggest arch nemesis as of 2021 has to be that lady from the Ancestry.com commercials. I'm from all nations. Shut the fuck up, Susan. You've literally never left Rhode Island. I'm not going to let you all lives matter the struggle right here. But I have to say, my favorite thing as of 2021 has to be when a white supremacist takes a DNA test and finds out he's like 2% African. My favorite flavor of racist tears. So salty. I love that. I love that. Ooh, little ASMR teas for you. Ranch dressing and vibes, right? Halloween. We out here. I just I'm just happy that we're at least doing something, so I don't have to put up with any more BS, any more cultural cluelessness. It's really hard, especially because like I in dealing with not only just growing up mixed, having a white dad is hard, especially if he's old. Okay, my father is 80 years old. That's also send help. I mean, like, okay, all right. My mom, when she came to this country, she had an economic plan. Okay, step 1, acquire a white. Okay, that's my dad. Extra credit because he's Jewish. Step 2, secure the white. That's me. I'm insurance, right? And she really took it a step far because my dad, again, that's an old man. She likes him old and white. My father looks like Jewish Sean Connery. Please send help. Okay, he married my mom back in the 80s because she looked like Sade. If you know, you know. And and people are like, oh, what a cute interracial family. Do you dress up as an Oreo for Halloween? No, okay, I'll take it. I'll do you one further. Their wedding anniversary is actually October 30th. 'Twas yesterday. And that's traumatic for me because people are like, oh, do you dress up as milk and cookies? It's like, no. Okay, you know what these mofos did for their 10th anniversary? In 1994, they had a themed anniversary party of The Bodyguard, starring Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. Yeah, okay. My parents gathered up. My parents gathered up all the friends and family, all the coworkers, to dine at the Spinnaker, the now defunct rotating restaurant at the Hyatt Regency overlooking the Charles Riviere. And unbeknownst to my mother, my father paid off a waiter to roll in with a cake and then fake attack her so he could swoop in like Kevin Costner. Okay, I'm 6, right? Like the whole time I'm like, oh, what's going on? And everybody's just like, hey, we're uncomfortable. Is a murder afoot? But no, everything was fine. And then my mom sang at the end. This is my trauma. This is interracial love. Yeah, wow is the correct response. This is comedy, right? Ranch dressing. We're out here. We're figuring it out. This was unlocked during therapy. Hi, thanks. I think I've scared half the audience. Yeah, should I finish there? Should I finish on like the scariest, spookiest thing possible? I think, or should I tell a quick ghost story? No. Ghost story. All right. Last thing before I get out of here. Super duper quick because it's spooky season. All right. Now, growing up, I wasn't particularly popular with, other kids in school. I was kind of a weirdo introvert and also like beige with a big head and people couldn't figure me out. But in an attempt to help me get some friends, my mom and my classmates' grandmother implemented a forced hangout because my mom worked late in evenings and everything. And so I would hang out with this other girl in my class and her grandmother after school, and she'd babysit us. It was all right. It was all right. Third grade, her grandfather unfortunately passed away. And it was very hard because she was very, very close to her papa, right? Like that was her guy, that was her dude, right? Which respect. Grandparents are the shit. Love me some grandparents, right? But apparently this classmate of mine, let's call her Gulia, she had it in her mind that apparently I was some sort of medium or psychic or something. I don't know. The magical black best friend trope is something that we also must kill once we end racism. But I digress. So one day, as we're hanging out after school, she decides in her mind that we're going to go into her grandmother's basement and utilize her older sister's Ouija board to contact her grandfather. So we're sitting in the basement. And we're, moving the thing around. And, she's really trying to, connect with the spirit world and really like, try harder, like yelling at me to like connect harder. I'm scared. I'm nervous. This is like the scariest. It's so spooky. Like there's no lights in the basement, but like we see something flicker off in the distance while moving. It was spooky, you guys. It was spooky. And my friend Gulia was, at the height of everything when we were like determined to try and connect with the other side. She's holding on to the little Ouija thing and holding my hand, and she goes, Grandpa, if you can hear us, give us a sign. If you are here, give us a sign. Let us know. And we hear pop, pop, pop. And we scream and we run up the stairs. But y'all, to this day, I do not have the heart to tell that girl that this whole time, that pop, pop sound was me farting. All right, I'm Tookie Kavanaugh. That's my time. Good night.
All right, I have some things I need to clear up with Tookie before we move on.
Let's hear them.
Tookie, is your white dad Brett Kavanaugh?
Hell no, he doesn't even spell that right.
Okay,
There's no U in Kavanaugh.
All right, it would have just fucked
or
up
assault.
our shit if your dad was, or her white dad, not Brett Kavanaugh. So please give us money because to celebrate Brett Kavanaugh not being her white dad. And Tookie, were you a co-host of this last year?
I sure was.
All right, how are we honoring your legacy? Are we doing okay?
Y'all are killing it. I'd love to
great.
see it.
Well, I just want to point out that I am not my ancestors, and I will fight you if we don't fix racism by 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time.
I know.
I know you guys, it was a lot going on last year, so there was no expectation that you fix racism, but we are vaccinated, so we should be fixing that by 8 p.m. my time.
I'm trying to get the booster. I don't know.
I got that booster yesterday, but it was great. So.
I'm trying to get the booster on top of the booster.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for honoring my heritage with ranch dressing once again. All right. Rachel, we're like halfway through. We're halfway to fixing racism.
We're halfway through, and just for the price of a ranch dressing, you can help us end racism tonight. I like that segue. I think that's pretty good. We're trying to hit.
How much do you think ranch dressing costs, Rachel?
Anywhere between $1 and $1,500.
It is $3,000. We've got a trucking problem. It's really expensive now. There's a supply chain issue. $3,000 to fix racism and the supply chain for ranch dressing on the East Coast.
Brandy, thank you for reminding me about the supply chain. I had forgotten about it, but it's always good to remember that things are crumbling around our heads, and the least you can do is fix racism while things are deteriorating. And you can do that by donating to the button that will undoubtedly appear in bright colors in the chat any moment. Donate today. Help us end racism. Brandy can enjoy Succession, and the rest of us can enjoy ranch dressing without feeling guilty that we didn't give the money to help end racism instead of buying that ranch. Yeah.
So it looks like we've got not one, but 2 for 1 coming up next. Who do we got coming up next?
That's a great question, Brandy. And the answer is that you need to hold on to your seats because we have been working so far with presenting storytellers and comedians. But what you're not necessarily prepared for is improv. We do have an improv duo here tonight for you. 2 of my favorite improvisers. We have one of them has been previously seen in Magically Delicious Bodega and the Improv Boston main stage. The other improviser here tonight is the owner and artistic director of Improv MKE and former cast member at Improv Boston on Herald Night, and is also a voice actor. So these 2 wonderful improvisers are going to improvise together tonight. You literally can't see this anywhere because they are one's in Boston and one's in the Midwest. Impossible to see them together, except for tonight, where through the magic of technology, we're going to see them together. Please give it up as loudly in your home as you can for Shion Anamashan and Michelle Gilliam.
I think that's the best introduction I've ever had in my entire life, Rachel.
Hey. Shion, you are muted. We're going to get there. Shion, can we hear you now?
Do you have sound, Shion? No, okay. Are you just moving your mouth? I feel like this is a bit. This is a bit.
Is this a bit?
This is terrible. I'm done. I'm done. You know what? I'm
Brandy,
watch
no!
I'm watching an earlier episode of Succession. I'm rewatching last week's. I'm out of here. Fed up.
Brandy,
it's not a game. This is
but
not
racism
a game.
isn't over. You can't
It
leave
actually
yet.
is a game. That's like what improvisers do. They play their game. So
it's true.
So yeah, Brandy did
Nope.
warn us that she would get fed up halfway through the show. So this is all on schedule.
Oh, okay, very
Scheduled
good,
fed
very good.
upness, Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
catch the first
thank you.
half, but thank you for catching me up.
You're welcome.
Hear me now, or am I just speaking to a
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. Hi, I'm very excited. Rachel, great job saying my last name, et cetera, energy.
You're welcome. Guys, give it up for you too.
Hi, Brandy. How's it going? Yeah, so great foot, Halloween, sup, blah, blah. So if you have accents, just put them in the chat. Just put your accents in the chat. In the meantime, Michelle, how's it going?
Good. Yeah. Throw some accents in there. Twitter. No, it's not Twitter.
Yeah,
Sorry.
once we
it's
get
Twitch.
accents, we'll start using them. So just give us a bunch. Like if you have one, put one in the chat, but then put a second one in the chat
Oh, that's
as
good.
well.
That's good.
Yeah, just pile them on there because that'll be helpful. Right now we have 2 and we need more than 2. So if you have more, put them in the chat. Michelle, where do you want to go?
I want to go to North Dakota. So the other day, guess what happened?
Does it involve a man without a shirt?
It does involve a man without a shirt. And
It's
snow.
Bobby.
Yeah. Bobby was out there in the snow because, we got the early snow this year. And he took his shirt off because he thought he was hot. And that snow would cool him off. Do you think that was a signal?
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
not
I
good.
do.
I'm not good at reading signals.
I told you Bobby likes you.
I've
A
heard
lot.
you say that, but I can never tell.
What have I always told you? I said I'm your wing woman.
What's happening there?
I think I went to Jamaica for a little bit, but it's fine. I think I'm gonna just park right here.
I
I'm
think
gonna
you went.
park here.
I think you went to Brooklyn and then you went to Jamaica.
I think that's very generous of you to say, but we want to focus on your love life. So get back to talking about shirtless Bobby.
I'm just trying to figure out where you're at, but it's
Hey,
cool. I'm here.
it's been a time. I'm dealing with a lot. I feel like I'm not myself.
What's going on with you, friend?
Well, if I look over here, I see ants. So that's what I'm gonna just focus on. I feel like there's a lack of order in our friendship if you don't listen when I try to tell you that, like, this dude's got the hots for you. You know, he's dropping hints left and right. A man does not cool off in the snow. He's trying to show you the pecs and the back muscles.
Yeah. After that, you know what he did? It was kind of strange.
What?
Well, he dropped his pants. And he said, oops.
Did he turn around and then look back and then bite his finger too? What do you need, woman?
Were you
the
there?
Man is obsessed with you.
Were you there? Because
I'm
that's
just
exactly
saying.
what he did.
I'm just saying.
I brought him a towel.
I gotta tell you something.
Yeah.
Bobby's been telling me that he likes you, and he's been asking me how to get hints to you. And I told him to just tell you flat out that you don't do well with hints. But he is just as stubborn as you. You both don't listen. You're perfect for each other.
Oh, gosh, you're just saying that.
You're giving me emotional distress.
Aw, you're just saying that too.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you joking with me?
You know I don't joke well.
Why do you keep saying that I'm just saying that?
Well,
it's like, you know, I'm totally saying it because I mean it. Right?
Yeah.
So like why would you just disregard what I'm saying and like say that I'm just saying it? I'm saying it because it's true.
Look, I totally don't mean to like just disregard what you're saying. But what I'm saying is that like what you're saying is like a thing that like I'm not totally sure about. You know what I mean?
I need you to dig down and like remember when we took that semester abroad in Russia?
Duh.
So you remember?
Duh.
And what did they tell us? What was the thing they were always telling us about our beliefs in ourselves and what we should do with them?
The one thing I remember is that they said that we should be spasiba. That means thank you.
We should be thankful?
Yeah.
So why weren't you being thankful right now? Because Irish pirates is something I saw that took my eye, and I'm sorry I got pulled out of this conversation.
You're always trying to date an Irish pirate. The last guy, it took us 6 months to find you.
But I'm liking the way the seas roll.
I know. You love the way the seas roll.
And you know what? I asked them the last time, I said, would you lash me to the mast? I want to hear the sirens.
Yeah. And that's how we found you. We were looking everywhere.
I didn't know that he was a siren too. I missed the boat on the pirate siren dichotomy. I didn't realize how similar they were.
Yarr. You know, I've never been to Hawaii. Have you? Okay.
I did. I went.
Is that upsetting?
It was like so unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, like when Bobby takes his shirt off.
Yeah.
And the like sun and like the sweat.
Yeah.
And like the rippling, and then he'll like do the flex. And
Yeah.
it's just like, are you a piece of art?
Yeah.
You know? That's how Hawaii, like, but like the sky and then the sand and then the people and like the food. It just,
I think I get it. You saw Bobby in the sky.
it was
Hawaii.
the way that you react to Bobby without a shirt.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the general ambiance of Hawaii. And I had to tell it. That's the difference. I told it. I said, Hawaii, I love you. And if you don't love me, it's okay. I just need you to know that I love you so much.
Wow.
And there's nothing I want more than for you to understand that I love you.
I love you too. You know, I wish that was very clear. If Bobby said something like that, I would get it. But now I feel like I need to marry you instead of Bobby, because Bobby's never said that before. All right. Let's
Girl,
do
are
it.
you living on the moon? No, I was talking about Hawaii.
Yeah.
I love Hawaii.
But you just said, I love you. And I'm like the only one here.
I was recounting.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
Why are you like this? Bobby could write you. He could do the whole boombox thing with the songs and raise it on his head, and you still wouldn't get the memo. And now you think that like I'm the.
I mean,
I feel like we're having like a serious communication issue. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What's the disconnect?
Okay, here's the disconnect.
I want to know.
I heard you when you said you were in love with me.
Okay, I was talking about Hawaii.
I think that you didn't hear yourself when you said it, because I heard it. And I just want to say, spasiba.
You're welcome. I was pretending like I was frozen.
What?
But I'm not frozen.
What?
My Wi-Fi connection is good.
It
just keeps going.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And no spasiba. So
I have tricks. I have pranks. I have japes. And I got Wilmaroos. This is what you get. If you're in love with me, this is what it is.
I don't know what half of those things are.
Hey.
But I know that they're wicked cool.
Hey, yeah. Patriots, other sports, etc. Dunkin', donuts,
dunks,
traffic, the lack of a blinker.
Keep listing things. I love listing.
North Face jackets. Okay, hats,
neighborhoods,
some sort of hats.
Areas,
Brockton, Brookline, Mattapan, Acton.
That's also a
Waltham.
Yep,
Medford.
Yeah,
New Bedford.
That's
Hello.
Right.
What are we talking about? Rhyming. We're rhyming. Keeping all the good timing.
Rhyme and reason. Am I
For
right?
sure. And food is also chowder. Chowda, it's a different thing. It's separate. They're very unique and different.
Yeah. You know what?
Whatever it is.
That's our time. That's our time. Get excited.
Yay! Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for not mentioning Beacon Street, because there are too many of those in the Boston metropolitan area. Not mentioning busing, but that falls under racism, which again, we are now we have like an hour and 5 minutes to end it. So thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Guys.
Dankeschön. I took Russian in high school, and now I am speaking German, so that worked really well. I'm sorry, Mr. Ritchie. I'm so sorry. We have another guest, correct?
We do. We're gonna move on straight along. We are running a little bit behind because everyone is so funny, and that's what happens when everyone is so funny. You run a little behind. This woman is amazing. I cannot speak enough good things about her. She is the owner and general manager of Comedy Sports in Boston. She's the owner of the Rossi Square Theater. She is hilarious. She is wonderful. You are free to drop in to do an intro to improv workshop every month. The next one is November 4th and November 6th, and she can tell you more about that. Please give it up for Courtney Pong.
Yay! Hi, everybody.
Hello.
All right. Today I have a storytelling piece. Sounds pretty good?
Sounds amazing.
Okay. It is a beautiful Monday morning at 7 a.m. and I am in my pajamas. But instead of being in my pajamas, drinking coffee and slowly waking up, I am in my pajamas outside on my front lawn, bundling up cardboard boxes. And instead of being in my small studio apartment in San Francisco, I am in a multifamily unit in Boston, Massachusetts, right on the Arbor Way. Now, I don't know anybody. I'm not from here. I actually moved here from the Bay Area back in 2016. The short version is that I had the opportunity to purchase a company and try and create the same community that I had been a part of out in the Bay Area and across the US, and try and recreate it in Boston and be a part of that. So it became a question of, I don't want to stay or I don't want to leave, but I just can't stay. So I moved to Boston, and now I am cold all the time. So other than the weather, I did commit all the way to being a full Bostonian. So I got a Charlie card and I rode the T. I got a couple of like knit hats and some better winter wear. I developed an unreasonable amount of undeserved pride. I committed all the way to being a Bostonian. Part of committing all the way means setting down some roots. So when I moved here from Boston, I really only had 10 boxes and I had shipped a few things and I had 2 suitcases. So setting up house in Boston again meant ordering a lot of things. And we have all these great services now, so you can actually get quite a bit of stuff done by just getting things delivered to your house. So I did that. And part of that meant that I had amassed a lot of boxes in my home. And I had this huge house on the Arbor Way, and I just started breaking down cardboard boxes and just shoving them in this extra room, thinking I will take care of them some other day. Well, about 3 months after I had moved there, I decided, you know what? I will be a responsible citizen. I will call the city of Boston and ask, what do we do with these? So I called the city of Boston and I said, what happens? And they said, it's very simple. You just take all the boxes, you're going to break them all down, you're going to bundle them up, and you're going to tie them with string. And then you're going to put them out with your recycling and your trash. And the recycling folks will pick it up with everything else. And I was like, that is so easy. So I went down to my local hardware store. I got some string. I sat down on my floor on a Sunday night and I bundled all of these cardboard boxes. We're talking a lot of boxes, all flattened down. And I was so proud of myself. I lugged them out to the sidewalk. I put them up against the recycling bins, and then I went to bed that night. And I woke up the next morning on a Monday morning, and instead of waking up to all of my recycling being gone, I woke up to a litany of text messages, one after the other. So I mentioned I live in a multifamily unit in Boston, and it's actually a house that has many different families in there as well. And one of them, actually all of them were on the text thread. So we've got a bunch of folks, including one person named Chris. So I woke up to this huge list of text messages, and the first one I see is a photo of the boxes and the recycling bin, and it says, whoever did this, not cool. You're blocking the sidewalk. And it's 6:45 in the morning, and I remember just like staring at the text messages, blinking and going, oh my gosh. And I panicked for just a moment because I thought I had done something wrong. And I just kind of was very sleepy. And I said, I'm so sorry. The city told me to do that. And he says to me over text, to everybody, don't give me your lazy millennial bullshit. And I just kind of caught myself. I was like, this is on like a mass text thread. And I just said, well, do you want me to put him in the street? He definitely did not like that. And he says to the whole text thread, it was lazy and it was stupid. So it just checked me just a little bit. And my landlord, Pete, is on the whole text thread, and he jumps in real quick and says, excuse me, hang on. We don't talk to people like that. Courtney, it's fine. Just go ahead and take the boxes and just move them up against the back of the gate. And then they'll be there and you can still see them, but they're not in the way. And I was like, that sounds great. So I start to go downstairs and I just think, you know what, I'm just going to check out the front window just to see if maybe they got picked up between point A and point B of the text messages. And I look out the window, and as I'm looking at the window, the boxes are actually not where I originally left them. Somebody has taken all the boxes and they have unbundled them and they have flung them all over my front yard. And there was really only one guess who it was. So as I'm running downstairs in my pajamas, I'm texting Chris and sending him a voicemail. And I said, you know what? I'm a pretty reasonable person. If you did this, just come and talk to me. Just call me. It's not a big deal, but you didn't have to do that. And he wouldn't pick up the phone. And instead he texts me and says it was lazy and stupid. So I just at that moment decided I'll put the phone down. I'm not going to deal with it. So I go outside and I start bundling up all the boxes and I get them back in their original place and I carry on with the rest of my day. And I'm clearly rattled. It just felt so like I had just moved there and this was my first encounter with my neighbors and it just was a lot. So it was uncalled for. So as I continued on with my day, we got through the morning and I started to calm down a little bit. I got through the beginning of the afternoon and my landlord Pete text messages me and he says, I'm so sorry, Courtney. We don't speak to people like that in this house. And I say, it's okay, Pete, I really appreciate it. And he says, I have a feeling Chris won't be living here anymore. And I don't know what that means. And I go, okay, whatever. And then before I could actually figure out what that meant, I get a text message from Chris. Fing. And it says, I hope you're happy. I got evicted. And I paused and it rattled me even more because I think my first inclination was, do I apologize? But then again, women are socialized to just believe they're supposed to be sorry for everything, even when they haven't done anything wrong. And I was like, did I really do anything wrong? What am I doing? I just moved here. Is this the reputation you're going to have? And it just weighed on me. And I thought about it and was like, this is this weird intersection between who I am and where I'm going in Boston and who I'm going to become in this next phase of my life. And I gathered up all my courage and I thought about how do you want to show up in this moment? And I just took my phone and I just texted out to him very, very directly. And I said, Chris, I am so sorry you have to move. Do you need boxes? And I put the phone down. So that was 4 years ago. Oh, actually 5 years ago now that I think about this, 5 years ago. And I have since spent the last 5-6 years navigating what it means to be equal parts Californian and Bostonian, and equal parts because I get a lot of unsolicited advice, but I also get a lot of just questions of what do you like more, Boston or California? And I think over the years, what has popped into my brain a lot is that it's actually not an either or. It's always an and. It's a coexisting emotions of I really love California. And I really love being in Boston. So I've spent a lot of years just navigating what does it mean to just take yourself with you and keep going and find your new places to be. And again, like I said, I do get a lot of advice unsolicited from folks since I've been moving here, but I have learned how to layer my clothes better so I'm warmer. I have learned how to shovel and dig my car out. But I will say some of the best advice I have gotten to this day was that I was at the RMV when I first moved here after the box incident. I had to go to the RMV and I had to replace my driver's license. And if you don't know this, when you replace your license at an RMV or a DMV, they take your old license, right? They say, excuse me, give us that. So they took my California license. And as I was filling out the form and the guy hands me the paperwork and he says, okay, he stamps everything and he says, here is your Massachusetts license. And I looked at him and he looks right back at me, and he says to me the best advice I ever got, which he looked at me and he said, "You've got a lot of healthy optimism. Don't let us beat it out of you." Thank you. That's all I had. That was my story. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Courtney.
Courtney.
Thanks.
Thank you so
We
much,
got some
Courtney.
exciting news. Yeah.
Yeah, we have some exciting news coming up. And it's not just exciting news, it's also exciting who the news is coming from. Randy, who are you used to getting the news from?
Twitter? Just tweets and stuff?
Just tweets. Yeah, so today we're going far beyond what you're used to, what anybody is used to. We're actually going to get a donation update from several very colorful characters from Disco Gandalf, the Generic Pirate, and the Catman. They're going to tell us how well we are doing to end racism in Boston and get you watching Succession on time. Which I think it's paramount. I think it's almost my priority at this point.
No, fixing racism should be the priority. Let's not get out of pocket.
Hello, is that
Gandalf?
And the Generic Pirate. You guys are, again, I cannot emphasize enough how much we cannot hear you. If you can
bump your sound up or something. Bump that gain.
Oh, the volume, absolutely no audio. Basically.
I hear a little bit, but not enough to.
Just like a little bit.
Nope.
Nope, not at all. Sorry, you guys. You guys look amazing, though. Hello, Matt.
Hi. Hold on one second. I'm gonna take. I've actually got Disco Gandalf and the Generic Pirate here, but Catman had to leave, so I'm just gonna pull him over here. See?
Thank you so much, Matt. All right.
Can you hear everybody? Can you hear us?
We can. And if you were here, if you were watching the show to get to Catman's bit, we're very sorry. We know he's one of the most popular types of cat today. R.I.P. Catman. We love you and we'll miss you.
Mm-hmm. R.I.P. All right. Well, yeah, as I was saying, I'm 1970s Disco Gandalf. I came here straight from Helm's Deep to solve Watergate. I thought it was a better use of my time. This here is the Generic Pirate.
Generic Pirate, thank you. Yeah, great to be here. Great to be at Union Comedy. Thank you so much to Union Comedy for letting us use the space and for allowing me to see the beauty that is Gandalf's beard.
This is way cooler than the Mines of Moria, for sure. And we just wanted to give a little update to thank everybody. We've raised about $7,210, and
what do you say to that, Catman? That's what I thought.
And
that was a meow.
I never learned math as a wizard, but I think that's like $500 we've raised.
I think that's about right. That's about right.
Far out, man.
There, it's the furthest and the outest. Mostly.
$500? We're so close to solving racism in Boston. How much more money do we need to solve racism in Boston? Disco Gandalf and Generic Pirate?
Approximately another 1,000, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, yar.
We've got 50 minutes to fix racism in Boston before I have to go watch criming white people. So let's speed it along with the money, people. Come on.
Succession. I love that show. Love it.
Let's make it happen.
Like, y'all are really making me feel like Kendall Roy, and you are being Loganish by not giving me what I deserve. So that is $1,000 more. Where can they donate, Rachel?
They can donate at the tinyurl.com/
Catman just left. I'm sorry. He was here and then left. I apologize.
It's okay. I think right now our priority is just getting that donation button back in rotation for our fans and our haters who will, I assume, donate out of spite, which is a fine way to donate. We absolutely appreciate it either way. tinyurl.com/SURJ B, that's for SURJ Boston, CCI, which stands for Community Change Inc., and 21, which stands for 2021, which is the year we will solve racism in time for Brandy to watch Succession.
I also need to watch Insecure too. It's a lot. There's a lot happening today, so.
She also has to watch Insecure, which I heard is very good. I have not.
You are co-hosting an anti-racism thing, and you have not seen Insecure. Wow. Please donate $500 so I don't feel angry anymore.
I heard it's a very good show. I just don't have HBO, and it's kind of annoying to watch shows when you don't have the channel. That said, I'm sure it's amazing, and I would never say a single word against Insecure or any show I've never seen. Don't be mad at me. Great. We are going to move right along. I think we got to move right along. Shouldn't we, Brandy?
Oh, absolutely. Let's get it going.
Before we let Brandy's rage towards me build, I think it's important for us to move along. So you've seen stand-up comedians, you have seen storytellers, you have seen improvisers, you have seen us, and you have seen pre-recorded haunted spooky videos. You've seen almost everything. What we haven't shown you yet is a musician. We have a wonderful musician tonight. I have been to his house. I have played the drums. He is an artist, an educator, a poet, or in parentheses, whatever we want to say. So he is my friend. Please give it up for TJ Reynolds.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. We're running late.
I understand, but this has been really fun. I've been enjoying the show. It's been great.
I'm really glad. TJ, what are you going to play for us tonight?
I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do one song that is about the church and kind of the way the church has been twisted in the modern day. And then the other one, I'm going to do a freestyle based on suggestions that people put into the chat. So I need people to kind of really participate and just put whatever suggestion you think of, and I'm going to try to work it into a freestyle. Yeah, that's what's happening. So this first one is called Church. And I think sometimes, a lot of times, charity gets tied up in church and belief and needing to bow down to something before you get something that was taken. Makes you think about it. Hope the mix is okay. The world is sinister when you can't trust a minister, and religion only serves to limit your tolerance. I hear your soul hollering. You took God out the game, better call her in. The world is sinister when you can't trust a minister, and religion only serves to limit your tolerance. I hear your soul hollering. You took God out the game. What happened to your faith in the time you were tested? Quoting all the scripture, but you still don't get the message. Ill representative. Your God knows if you're a poser who never rose to but sang to the occasion. Do you think that I'm brazen to be saying your whole church is near elimination? Cause it ain't facing this epidemic. They just pretend it ended instead of mended. Of course the devil would hide in the robes of a priest, and bishops don't bother to have the situation ceased, so they move on from parish to parish, and any hope is perished. To the victims of these hidden heretics, say they pray for you, but they pray on you. But I know that true believers gonna push on through all the evil wrought in the name of God. Most religious overzealots usually are the frauds. World is sinister when you can't trust a minister, and religion only serves to limit your tolerance. I hear your soul hollering. You took God out the game, better call her in. The world is sinister when you can't trust a minister, and religion only serves to limit your tolerance. I hear your soul hollering. You took God out the game, better call her in. The church is in a state of separation, further distorted with each generation. The sinister pictures and the unthinkable become permanent fixtures. If 4% of all Catholic priests have got caught, imagine how many fatherfuckers have not. But the church is the biggest corporate lobbyist. Everybody in the pews is simply audience. Change history, cast Jesus as a white man. Strike quicker than thieves in the night can. Replace it with the replica, the perfect heist. Market it with the new Atkins approved body of Christ. Believers believe they know it all, don't budge a smidgen. But your relationship with God don't need religion. I don't care if you think this song is controversial, cause this time it's personal. Now I lay me down to sleep in the darkness. We really had to start this. Yeah. The world is sinister when you can't trust a minister. And religion only serves to limit your tolerance. I hear your soul hollering. You took God out the game, where the collar in the world is sinister when you can't trust a minister. And religion only serves to limit your tolerance. I hear your soul hollering. You took God out the game, God out the game. What's God? Who's God? Where's she at? And why the segregation of churches try to push it to the back? Take the Christ for the excuse in the life for not living up to the godly right. There's a church on every corner, but ain't no God in sight. Then they shun away the bum that's going through the fight of alcoholism, drug addiction, trying to get off the pipe. Then the church chastised and told him, take a hike. But yo, it's not too late, cause you know where are we? We're stated. Cause it seems it's all hatred. I don't understand all of this fakeness. It seems you think that the church's place is just a place to gather all the racists. Yeah, but that's just for chumps and anybody that ever believed in Trump. The world is sinister when you can't trust a minister. And religion only serves to limit your tolerance. I hear your soul hollering. You took God out the game, better call her in. The world is sinister when you can't trust a minister. And religion only serves to limit your tolerance. I hear your soul hollering. Yeah, I hear your soul. Shout out to the philosophy. All right. So that's a nice little feel-good song. So we're gonna do a little freestyle now, and I see we're getting lots of suggestions in the chat. So go ahead and put more suggestions in the chat there, and I'm gonna just start using them. So yeah, anything you want to put down is gonna help me in the freestyle, and it's gonna make it more fun because I know we got some people that are watching. So this is when you get to typing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play a beat. And this beat is the most expensive beat that's ever existed. It's crazy how much this beat costs. Here we go. All right. I see some suggestions. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Yeah, get suggestions, cause all that is lyrical weapons. I don't have to deal with the yes man. All I have to do is just impress them. Cause you can't jam with me, cause I'm the one that's putting on the jamboree. Yeah, cause you can see all the freckles I hide, but I turn around and turn to Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, cause you know you can't stop me. I go ahead, lock it down like a stapler on copies. Yeah, cause you know that I'm holler. The motherfuckers are a tree like a koala, and I'm cute, see? You know you cannot suit me. I keep coming through and I get so groovy and looking for the next one. Coming weapon, I never tongue-tied. Give me more suggestions and more donations. Keep it coming. Were you trying to step up, having fun when? Oh, you know that I trim my dune when I have to just give a prune. Yeah, I can't compare them, cause you like Brandon. and the Airhead, the best movie that he was in. I'm gonna give you a little bit more, cause you know that I'm loving. So, are you white or are you gray? I'm just a disco Gandalf here to have a fun day. And you never know, cause your lame mom might come around and do it with James Bond. Oh yes, then she explodes like TNT, and passes like a filibuster on me, or maybe a diaphragm with the spermicide. I got the manners and you're aside. You're invited, yes, yes. Cause I'm gonna make it clear, I'm standing at the board with a boner like freshman year. Oh yes, and this is awkward love, like Rachel and Ross. I wish I'd give them a shove. I didn't watch Friends. No, that is the stopgap. I never stop, rat. You know that I got that. Oh yes, it's like a paper bag. That's a groove by Fiona Apple, and I have all that stuff that keeps going. It's never ever cheesy, like the Eternals. Marvel finally missed. See, he cannot always be Kevin Fiji. I'm the one that comes, and you know that we be underwater like Aquaman, never stopping, man. Everybody comes, and I'm going off again. I gotta stop the plug because I'm kinda jittery, like I refilled my coffee mug. Oh yes, he's coming with the sweet shit, always getting into trouble like he's Heathcliff. Oh yes, and it's 16 inches. What am I talking about? That's my personal pizza, bitches. I'm TJ Reynolds. Thank you for the suggestions. And thank you for giving money to this worthy cause. Succession's next.
TJ, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
Wait,
much.
TJ, before you go, is your Twitter handle TJ Reynolds Art, or are you on
It
Twitter?
is, because I'm a visual artist as well, yes.
Okay, because I was like looking for it and I didn't see it. So, all right, maybe it was just my little system. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I will be even 3 minutes late to Succession because of this. It's given me enough to keep going. So thank you. Awesome. Fantastic. I love that song.
Peace.
Fun fact, you may not believe it, but TJ Reynolds just wrapped the plot to this hour's Succession. That is actually exactly what happened.
Spoilers
tonight.
just happened?
Spoilers just happened.
Again, it's time for me to leave again. I'm out of here.
To be fair, Brandy did say she would leave once I spoiled tonight's Succession for her, so everything is happening on schedule. Brandy, how are you feeling about tonight so far?
I mean, I think we could use a little bit more money. I mean, look, it costs like $10,000 for a bus to do busing in Boston. With inflation, that's probably like $10 million. So we can't fix racism without more busing. I don't know. Look, I'm not a public policy person. I am a comedian and also another day job situation. So just give us a lot of money, please. Please. Don't make me ask again. I will.
No.
I don't want to.
As you may have guessed from the way that we talk, we are neither of us the money men. We do not do the money. We are here for the laughter and your praise. However,
well,
there
I
are
am getting paid to be here. Let's not oversell what's happening here. I am not altruistic. It's a job.
Brandy,
it's a fun job. It's a job.
Brandy is getting paid, and that's great. So we are going to ask you once more before we bring out the next guest to please consider giving money to the link in the chat. That link is tiny URL, itty-bitty-url.com, SURJ BCCI 21 CCI 21. Keep the money rolling and keep us going in terms of helping end racism in Boston. That is going to help us do that.
36 minutes to end racism in Boston, and you will hear about it if we don't.
We have a hard out. We have a hard out in terms of ending racism, so we cannot be late or else they won't let us. Speaking of not letting us, I cannot let you guys go before you hear the opening, this amazing stand-up comic we have next. They are so funny. They are sometimes I get thinking about them, about how funny they are, and my mind is blown, and I have to put it back together in my head. They are seeable, they are perceivable on the New York Comedy Festival. Their work, their writing is able to be perceived on Disney Plus. They are coming up as a performer at Union Hall in New York for the New York Comedy Festival on November 14th. They're the funniest person that I think has ever been alive. Please give it up for Sabrina Wu.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, Brandy. So good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Okay, it's been forever. Should I just start or?
I think you should just start unless you want to say something to us.
No. I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, everybody. I have some cute impressions for you guys. First impression, that was a hot girl pooping. Okay, second impression, some people think that's a clock. That was actually a really shy horse. Okay, it's so weird to do impressions without any. But anyways, third impression. That was the economy. Cool. I hope people watching are enjoying this. Another cute thing that I find incredibly annoying. You know when you're like I have to go to the bathroom, and then like some dad will be like, I don't know, can you? And it's like extremely awkward because they always make it seem like they've told the best joke ever, and then they look at you like top that, and there's nothing funny to say. I find that extremely frustrating as somebody who tries to write jokes. So I came up with some like a comeback that like, you know, feel free to use. So like they're like, oh, I don't know, can you go to the bathroom? And then you can say, can I? You don't know what I'm capable of. I could kill you and feel nothing. Slit your daughter's throat and bask in her blood. Blow up a school full of innocent children and still treat myself to a nice dinner. So yeah, I think I can take a fucking piss. Feel free to use that. Everybody loves a singer. Yeah, I guess I'm secretly, I would say that I'm full of rage as a person. I think that stems a little bit from the fact that I came out as a lesbian when I was like 16, and now I live in New York, and I have to talk to a lot of people who like realized they were gay in their 20s. And it's hard because it seems, and I'm trying to hold back my rage, it seems so fucking easy. Like I met this girl that I went to like that I grew up in Michigan. I saw her in New York later. She tells me over dinner, yeah, I realized I was gay through TikTok. And so I call my friend crying, and I come out to her, and then we have like a really nice threesome shortly after. That was her first gay sexual experience. My first gay sexual experience, I'm on a bus to a high school basketball game. Me and my teammate are rubbing the outside of each other's vaginas, and we just keep going, doesn't this feel weird? At my senior year of basketball, I played every game with my clit the size of a fucking ping pong ball. Okay, I'm on the court begging to be boxed out so that I can finally fucking come. I mean, but here she is, like first time being gay, has a threesome with two women of color. Women of color. I don't mean to sound like an old man talking about the internet, but I did not have that growing up. What did I do? I dated this this white person for a year who was not even that nice to me, but I was so in love with them, and we spent so much time together. A year we were like doing this weird ambiguous thing, and I'm in bed, and she turns to me and she goes, I love you so much, Serena, you mean the world to me. Do you think that maybe you'd want to be my squirrel friend? She said squirrel friend because saying girlfriend was too scary or embarrassing. And I, instead of being like, fuck off, I went, So I have a lot to work through rage wise. And I think part of what made it hard too was like, I think I have a lot of jealousy that I need to work on. Like my friend who realized she was gay in her 20s, like super femme. And it's just like sometimes when I see a femme lesbian, I have that like gut sinking realization, oh, I didn't have to be so fucking gay to be gay. Why did I get the premium version that comes with gender dysphoria? No, and I don't know, cool mustache, warm penis sold separately. It is, I just can't even imagine what it would have been like not knowing I was gay until I was 20. Every time I put on a dress as a child, everybody congratulated me. And like, yeah, I guess like now I'm trying to figure out all this weird gender dysphoria stuff. I guess I identify as non-binary. I'm not really sure what that means, but ever since I started identifying as it, the kinds of questions I get, wow, it's like I'm a fucking expert apparently. I am being asked impossible fucking questions. Like at my job, I was so here I wrote it down because it's like people ask like, how did you realize that you might be trans or whatever? So, but they never ask it like that because they're cowards. They'll go, somebody literally asked me, how did you arrive at your journey to finding like the path to your identity? So I put that question through Grammarly and it told me to kill myself. It literally, what the fuck does that mean? And then somebody was like, yeah, one of my coworkers literally got mad at me, called me a bitch, and then was like, wait, I'm so sorry that I called you a bitch because like, I know that you're like non-binary and I just want to be sensitive. Like, what would you like me to call you? And it's like, true or false, this bitch just asked me what my preferred slurs were. I don't know. And honestly, if you want to offend me, you can use whatever gender you want. But if you really want to hit me where it hurts, just tell me you think my boobs look nice. I'll decapitate myself. Oh my God. These are all the cute little rage thoughts I have. I guess I'll end on another semi-bitter note. I'm currently involved in one of the worst rivalries of all time. When I was in college, my freshman year, I had one rival, and it was because I took this storytelling class, and I had done like some moth story slams in high school and won. And one day we went as a class to a moth story slam. And I was like, this is great. I'm going to like impress my whole class. I'm going to go up, perform, kill it. Like everyone's going to love me. I went up and I ate shit. And then another classmate goes up and is like, oh, this seems really easy. She goes up and she kills it. She wins the whole thing. She gets all the way to the moth grand slam, whatever. And for the rest of the year, everybody was obsessed with her. They were like, she's an amazing performer. She's going to be famous. Oh my God. And I was like, oh, you think you're hot shit? You think you're hot shit? I'm the one who's going to be famous. I'm the one who's a good performer. 5 years later, I'm here. I'm doing fine. But that girl is inaugural Youth Poet Laureate Amanda Gorman. If you haven't heard of her, she performed at Biden's inauguration. She's got millions of Twitter followers. Michelle Obama said she changed her life. Okay. She's been on the cover of Vogue. She's hosting the Met Gala. If she becomes a staff writer on Big Mouth, I'm fucking killing myself. She's great. I just didn't think, did you know she's running for president in 2036? She's announced that she's running for president. So I guess I just thought that was like, I thought she was kind of, most people, what were the chances that I was going to be rivals with the only person who said they're going to be president and isn't fucking crazy? I just thought it was crazy. Like she would just be like, when I grow up, I'm going to be the first Black woman, like, president of the United States. When I was in college, my big dream, what I used to say, I used to be like, oh, one day maybe I could be like an Asian Jack Black. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. And it gets you. Do you guys think that? Do you guys think that when Malala got really famous, there was just someone in the back that was just like, ugh. Okay. Well, that's my set. Thanks so much. Please, please donate. Thank you so much for having me.
I can absolutely assure you when Malala got famous, people hated her because that is the reason why she got famous.
Yes, true.
So, yeah, she definitely has some haters. That is literally the reason why we know her.
And I'm just going to say it. Poetry. Easy? Maybe. I'm just going to say it. Comedy feels harder to me than poetry.
Yeah, it's like Amanda Gorman. Get a fucking beat. Make a rap. Yeah. She just makes poems without rap. Get the fuck out of here.
I feel so bad. It's my favorite bit, but I always feel bad because people like shit on Amanda Gorman for me, and I don't want us to do that. Just
I'm not shitting on her. I'm shitting on all the poets who don't have beats
you're right.
behind their poems. Look, I need a beat. I need a beat. Give me a beat. You just got lyrics? I can just go to Rap Genius for that shit. No, you get me a beat, Amanda Gorman. All right. Thank you so much, Sabrina. You're
Thanks
awesome.
for having me.
Wow. You know, when I met Sabrina, I'm like, this person is the funniest person in the world. I can't imagine them having a rivalry with anyone. But apparently,
who could imagine comedians having rivalries? That's wild.
Not me. I just dislike people.
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna
I'm just gonna hate. I'm like, it's not a rivalry because like the war is over and I just dislike you. I just put my walls up. It's not a rivalry because that implies some sort of like back and forth action.
Right. It's just, it's not a nemesis unless it's a mutual feeling. Otherwise, it's just bitches you can't stand. I completely understand. Yes.
I like to build a wall around myself.
What do we got coming up next? Sorry.
You know what? We have a wonderful performer next. You may have seen her on this very show. You may have seen her. Yeah, you may have seen her threaten to leave because we hadn't solved racism yet. Threaten to leave because I hadn't watched Insecure. Threaten to leave because of other reasons. But what's important is that she's still here now, and she's still here to do her set. Please welcome the funny, the amazing, the wonderful Brandy Brown.
Yay! Hey, it's me! Surprise! Yeah, so I've been doing some costume changes. I don't really like Halloween. I don't recognize the legitimacy of fall because I am an adult. I can buy candy whenever, and like fall is a bullshit season. Fall is the 6th grade of seasons. A lot of cool new feelings, but soon it's going to get very, very bad. So I don't like fall. I don't like a season where we just watch shit die. Like that was all 2020. 2020 was the fall of years, so don't like it. All right. Moving along. Yeah, so I'm wearing a Grey Duck shirt. I've been doing a lot of costume changes. On Tuesday, we've got a municipal election in Minneapolis. So I've been repping Eric Moran, Parks Ward 2, or District 2, Philippe Cunningham, Ward 4 in Minneapolis. This is just for Minneapolis people. Boston's fixed racism, I assume. And then also I was wearing a shirt that said vote yes on no, which was very, very meaningless, but at least you turned out to the polls. And finally, I am wearing a Grey Duck shirt because Minnesota is so fucked up on race that we changed Duck Duck Goose to Duck Duck Grey Duck. We're just like, we gotta mention the race of this duck. All right, let's do some jokes. If you want to come see me do comedy live, I would like you to wear a mask. Come to Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis on Wednesday. It's the 30th anniversary week. I will be performing in the showcase on Wednesday at 8 p.m. And yeah, it's awesome. 30 years of me Comedy Company. All right. I have depression. And my doctor, besides prescribing medication, therapy, and all that good stuff, my doctor was like, oh, yes, exercise would help. And I'm like, okay, sure. But then I was watching the Olympics, and I saw a great segment on Olympic athletes and mental health. And I was like, yeah, this is great and everything, but if Olympic-level athletes still have depression, there is no fucking way I can exercise enough to make a difference. So, nope, don't need to exercise. Gonna pass on that. Folks, have you ever... I want to talk about someone who I think is really, really misunderstood. I want to talk about Wile E. Coyote. A lot of people don't like him, and they think he's trying to kill the Roadrunner. And I am just asking, have you considered that Wile E. Coyote is just trying to tell his neighbor, the Roadrunner, that he is having pups in increasingly fucked up ways? It just seems like a lot of gender reveal situations, like rocket skates. Gender reveal, obviously. Painting a tunnel, like you're supposed to run through the tunnel, and then you see like blue and pink, and cause there's a lot of pups. Okay, never mind. I have a cat. Her name is Claudette Cookie Lion. I named her Claudette after Claudette Colvin, one of the early civil rights pioneers. And I named her Cookie Lion, Cookie Lion like the animal, after Cookie Lion on the show Empire, because at that point it was still a good show. And I was like, yeah, that's a great name, little black cat, bad bitch. Nope, Claudette Cookie Lion is not at all a bad bitch. I once saw her sneeze and then run away from her own sneeze. We got humidifiers in our house the other day, and Claudette Cookie Lion did not like them because apparently there's some evolutionary trait that makes cats afraid of mist. I don't know what the hell went on between a saber-toothed tiger and a woolly mammoth back in the day, but like she does not like that mist. And so Claudette Cookie Lion decided to have a protest where she pissed on my bed. And that was very, very uncool. I cleaned it up. But again, I cannot name a cat after a civil rights icon and then get mad that I don't like her protesting manner. So that's really my fault there. I screwed up. All right. Let's see what else we can talk about. I'm 40. Yeah, I know. Black don't crack. But I got the gray hairs. It's from my dad's side. My mom reminds me that of all the time. But here's the thing. I realized I was getting old when I was shoveling last winter, and I said to no one around while I was shoveling, "This is fun. We're having fun." And I knew I was old because only old people do that. Only old people have to vocalize the lies they tell themselves. Like, either I was not having fun, but I had to convince myself, so I said it out loud. And I knew I was old because the last time I heard someone do that is when my mom vocalized, "I don't want to kill her. I don't want to kill her." And she did that right after I drove through our garage door when I was 15. So definitely a lie. Definitely a lie. Old people shit. Let's see. Earlier I mentioned that Succession, it's been an ongoing theme. I was not fucking around. I'm going to watch Succession at 8 p.m. If the show's still going on, I've got 2 monitors. Let's do it. But here's the thing about Succession. It is literally just gritty family circus. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for my Twitter thread. It's the most recent tweet that proves family circus is just gritty Succession. I don't know. Explore that later. There's no joke there, but let's just make it interactive. Let's see. I've been thinking a lot about cats and movie making. Oh, I put it in the... They're yelling at me. I put it in the public chat because I want to make everyone feel included. Do you think that there's like a Jordan Peele of cats? And that cat just makes horror movies that are shit like there's a cat who befriends a broom, and then that broom turns out to be a stick vacuum. Okay. Look, I don't know if you're booing. I don't know if you're yaying. No one's replying to anything in the chat. Oh, it got filtered in public chat. All right, hold on. All right. I'm gonna end on an actual joke that I have done before. That works. I broke up with my boyfriend, but I also did not do the writing to change it to past tense, so pretend we're still together. But I've been having some trouble sleeping, and I've been taking melatonin, which is one of the natural chemicals your brain makes to regulate sleep. But one of the side effects is that you have insane nightmares, just very vivid, wild dreams. So I was taking some melatonin. I was at my boyfriend's house, and the next day he goes, "Hey, is everything okay? You were kind of thrashing around in your sleep." And I was like, "Yeah, it's just the melatonin I took." And then he goes, "Oh, I don't have that problem because I'm white." I was like, what? And then I realized he thought I meant melanin, which is skin pigment. And I was like, oh no, honey. Oh man, no. I don't have bad dreams because I'm black. Just a hellish existence. But more importantly, why would I be taking stay black pills every night? Like, just because we're sleeping together, I'm not going to catch your whiteness and then wake up one morning like, oh, I need to listen to Sweet Caroline on a loop and then fuck up the latest dance craze. Like, nope, that's not at all how that works. All right, that's awesome. All right, I'm done. That happened. I told some jokes. We are 15 minutes out from Succession. Hopefully we solved racism. Did we get enough money to solve racism in Boston?
It's still unclear to me whether we have, but what's important is that we're going to get you out of here by Succession o'clock, Brandy.
Well, no, I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to get dragged on Twitter if everyone's like, oh, Brandy saw Succession, but she didn't fix racism. Like, the priority is fixing racism in Boston, and then the second priority is, like fewer streets named Beacon Street in the Boston Metro. Like that, 1, 2, and then the third thing is Succession, and the fourth thing is proving that Family Circus is just wholesome Succession. That's in order.
I love that order. I love that priority. We are getting word from Matt that we're at 7,500. So I believe we are still working toward 8,500, which I believe
we only need $1,000 more, y'all. Like, everyone just tweet. If you've got Twitter, I only fuck with Twitter. Please tell everyone you follow just to give like $10 and then drop the link. What's the link, Rachel?
The link is, as it's been since the beginning, tinyurl.com/SURJB SURJBCCI21. Again, can't say it enough. tinyurl.com/SURJBCCI21.
Please get us to $8,500. That would make me so happy.
I'll be honest. It's been a long day. I've taught an improv class, and then I co-hosted this show. So it's been a long day for me. I would love it if we could solve racism, because I usually don't work this hard, guys. I usually don't work barely at all. So if you can help us solve racism, I really feel, Surge, tinyurl.com/SurgeBCCI21. Excellent.
And I have not been working very hard, but as a black woman, it is still thrice as hard. So please donate thrice as much as you were going to. And then another third of that could just go to me directly for reparations. That is actually my 6th priority.
Please reparate to Brandy. Brandy, one more time, what is your Venmo?
It's the Brandy ITS, the Brandy with an I. Again, somebody in the chat said it's not my fault we don't solve. I know it's not my fault. First of all, Amanda Gorman went to Harvard just outside of Boston, did not solve racism. I went to Williams like 2.5 hours across the state, closer to solving racism. I did everything I could. I did it all. I can't do any more. I can't do poetry because I need a beat, as I've said. I need a beat.
And just in deference to Sabrina, we are not making Amanda Gorman the villain or somehow the antagonist of this fundraiser. That would be bizarre and strange, although certainly funny, which makes it tempting. But we're not doing that.
Amanda Gorman did nothing wrong. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry did everything wrong. But again, that has nothing to do. That's neither here nor there. Don't rank Jacob Fry. But please, $1,000, please, y'all. Please, it would make me so happy.
As it happens, we are out of live performers. Brandy was our last live performer. However, we do have 2 more videos from Riot X Theater. So feel free to enjoy these while you are clicking and clacking away at your donation devices. Please enjoy clip number 2 from Riot X Theater.
Riot X Ghost Tour, go! There comes a time in every person's life when they find an object that is not merely an object. Here at Riot X, we are welcoming to all items cursed, haunted, or otherwise otherworldly. Welcome to our collection. This is Perot. I rescued him from a thrift store. I believe that he contains the soul of a sad commedia dell'arte actor, and if you like the wick, you will summon him and he will force you to sit through his tight 5.
Here we have a seashell baby doll head angel, which was gifted to me for my birthday this year. I am pretty sure that this was a failed experiment of Ursula the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid before she figured out how to get Ariel's voice in that seashell. And I think if I sing the correct collection of notes, a lonely, desperate sea cucumber will emerge.
This is an iron teapot that one day just appeared at the entrance of my old apartment in France. I think that if I rub it, a disgruntled French genie will come out, berating me for moving to a country with terrible cheese.
This is a painting that a friend of mine made for me in college with a razor blade inside of an apple. It was a prediction of what he thought my teaching career would be like.
And there you have it. Out of all these objects, the most cursed is, of course, Joe's future. Curtain.
Thank you for Riot X for those artistic and intriguing short films. I feel like I will be ruminating on them until the day I die.
So we've heard from. Just want to shout out the people behind the scenes that you're not seeing. Who is behind the scenes? Rachel, would you like to just shout out the people been running the show?
Absolutely. I'd love to give a brief shout out to the people who helped make this show possible. Obviously, it's easy to throw garlands merely on the people who appear on the screen. However, behind the scenes, we have to give it up for Sophie, for Adi, for Matt. Although briefly visible, Matt has been teching this entire show, and therefore you should be thinking of him as the third co-host. Matt, would you consider yourself the third co-host? Feel free to jump on screen and just get that.
Screen, Matt. It's Matt.
Am I the? I would say I am the least important host. I am just here pushing buttons. That's all I do, and not well. And sometimes I don't even push the buttons well.
But you're putting those links on screen where people can donate. You're making sure people know where the money can go.
Yeah.
And where can the money go, Matt? Where can the money go to end racism in Boston?
I mean, right here, right there. You can donate. There's the link right there. And it's in the chat. It's also in the comments on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. And people can keep donating after the show is over. So if they watch this on the replay, they can still donate.
It's a post-racial show, you're saying.
Right. Even if we don't solve racism tonight, which, I mean, that's a big feat. And I think we did a lot towards that end. But
You're my
there's still a lot of work to be done.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Hey, I get that. I get that.
Look, I've been trying to get people, and I am just going to issue threats. Now, if you don't get them to $8,500 before midnight Central Daylight Time, I am not voting in the Minneapolis municipal election. That's it. Fed up, Minneapolis, fix
Oh, man.
racism in Boston. And by the way, Boston and Minneapolis, we have, like in Minnesota, we have like a connection. I-90 ends in Boston or Seattle. I've got a friend in Seattle. Y'all should donate too. But we have a connection. Literally, I've driven it many times. Please, let's end racism in Boston.
Please end racism in Boston. I just think it would be cool to do. Obviously, it matters so much to so many people, and I just think it would be cool. I think it would be neat. You know, there's nothing more to say. I just think it's a good idea, and I'm for it. I support it. And yeah, if I could vote to end racism, I would. Unfortunately, we just have to raise a lot of money.
I'd also like to give a quick shout out if I could.
Vote.
I'm voting. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to Union Comedy for allowing us to use. That's where we're actually streaming the show from tonight. That's where the brains of the show is happening at Union Comedy. So if you're around the Somerville, Boston, Cambridge area, stop by Union Comedy and check it out. They do classes. They've got a great space. It's awesome. So thanks to Union Comedy.
Yeah, we love Union Comedy. We love Amanda Gorman, who is also in the Boston area. We don't hate Amanda Gorman. She is delightful. She just needs to get a good beat. Amanda Gorman, rap over the Succession beat, and we're all good. All right.
And
Rachel,
we want to thank
Matt, what are your handles? Sorry, I'm like saying, like, how can just one last time to reach you guys or however.
Just follow the channel. You don't need to follow me on Twitter. I just I don't really do much on Twitter. So just follow and like 2MB Studios. We do lots of cool stuff. So and this being one of those cool things.
Yeah, and we really appreciate everyone who's watched even part of this show. We are so thankful for everyone who paid attention to the show and who has given so far and will consider giving so far. We need one more K, so donate one more time. Matt, can we get that donate link in the chat? That would be cool. As well as Union Comedy, want to give it up for Riot X Theater for helping make some spooky videos. We want to give a shout out to Comedy Sports, which is proudly helmed by Courtney Pong, who gave us a story tonight. We want to give a shout out to the MKE Theater, which is artistic directed by Michelle Gilliam, who you saw do improv earlier tonight. We're not just comedians, we're also leaders in our communities of chuckle makers.
Will people be able to watch this replay later to see?
Yeah, this replay will be it'll be up on our Twitch page for 2 weeks, and it will live forever on YouTube. So you can go to our 2MB YouTube page and rewatch all the comedians you saw here tonight.
So yeah, you can also go back and see their Venmo handles and their Twitter handles and their social media. Give everyone a follow. Everyone was awesome. We got in under time. I have 2 minutes to like fix a plate for dinner and watch Succession. So I really appreciate that. But I'd appreciate it more if you fixed racism in Boston by giving them money.
Yeah, and I'm
really pissed if racism is not fixed and you have the money. I'm just gonna be a little pissed.
Yeah, I don't have to catch Succession because I don't have HBO. I am going to sit down to an audiobook of It Takes Two to Tumble. It is a romance novel, so I'm excited for that. Obviously, that's very important to me. It would be so much sexier to know that we had helped solve racism in Boston while I was listening to the audiobook. So if you can do that, that would help my experience tonight.
And I'm going to go home and watch the season 1 finale of Succession because I just started Succession, and I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to see the wedding happen, and I'm very excited for that to happen.
This is not a spoiler, but between season 1 and season 2, Shiv Roy's hair, like it's like it's chaos. It's not a beginning of a season of Succession if Shiv Roy's hair does not make sense in context. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for Boston. I'm excited. You know, any excess money. I'm just gonna promise this. Any excess money after they fix racism, will be used to reduce the number of beacon streets in the Boston Metro. That's a promise I will make after they
Can't
fix
beat
racism.
that. Can't beat that.
Oh, wait, someone just said something about we're at 8311. Because
fantastic.
My ex Ed Sheeran donated. It's not Ed Sheeran, but he donated.
So we only need we need $200 more, and then we'll still have $11 to take away one Beacon Street.
Yes, one Beacon Street. $200, y'all. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's 8 o'clock. Let's do it.
You know, we're so
like.
I don't
Can we
wanna-
please just stay on till they get to.
You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'll do? I'll play the SURJ video again that we played at the very top of the show, so people that might have not tuned in at the top can see kind of what SURJ does.
Oh, and also someone said $400 because people are mad at math. But
Oh.
$400, that's so little to end racism in Boston. Let's do it,
That's
y'all.
$200 twice. That's just $200 twice.
200s.
Just,
I'll
you
be
know,
late
find
to Succession. I'll be
$200.
late to Succession for this.
Randy's going to be late to Succession. I can't even believe she said that. She has said
can't
to us over and over again her one goal besides ending racism, getting to Succession on time. The fact that she would be late means how important is this to her right now? As important as anything has ever been to anybody ever.
Yeah, this video, the video we're about to play is about 3 minutes long. And I think in that 3 minutes, we can at least get maybe that first 200. We could get the first out of the $200 we could probably get in the next 3 minutes.
Let's do it.
Let's try it. Here we go.
1967. Detroit is burning. President Johnson orders an investigation to find out why. The Kerner Commission concludes that the riots in Detroit and other American cities are rooted in the white problem, institutional racism. Soon after the report is published, Martin Luther King is assassinated. 1 week later, Horace Seldon, a minister and activist in Massachusetts, is driving home after preaching an Easter morning sermon, and he has an epiphany. He must devote his life to work against white racism. Community change is born. Its core principles: challenge white supremacy. White people need to work with other white people. Follow the leadership of people of color. And provide support for activists and organizations of color, money, meeting space, connections, whatever is needed. CCI stepped in to support Boston's movements, from the struggle to desegregate the Boston public schools, to the role of white-led institutions, to global protest movements, to local community trainings and actions. For decades, CCI has helped to build and strengthen the anti-racism community in Boston. Horace Seldon and Paul Marcus, a successor as CCI executive director, taught a Boston college class on the history of racism in the U.S. for 14 years. Many of their students were inspired to become activists. And CCI's lending library and brown bag lunches made the office a watering hole for people to learn and socialize and connect. And CCI honored the ordinary people doing extraordinary things to combat racism with the Dry Longso Anti-Racism Leadership Awards, which became an annual community celebration. In 1969, a white person starting an anti-racist organization was a radical act. Horace left us in 2017, but we honor his vision by continuing to act boldly under Shea Stewart Boulay, the first Black woman to lead CCI. As more and more people join the uprising against white supremacy, community change is envisioning new ways to help bring liberation to us all.
I see we've been told by Anda still one. We're getting an echo.
Catman and friends, your audio is weird.
Yeah, we're hearing from Anna still one to refresh the numbers.
Oh, we gotta get more numbers.
that better?
Oh, should we check our?
Oh,
we should
yeah.
check our phone. Yeah.
What are our numbers at now? Shout out to Anda still one. I don't know what kind of mischief he's been doing, but
No number. Don't ask.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Hello, Catman. It's good to see you.
Hi. They're checking the numbers right now. There's no update as of yet. So, yeah. Sorry about that.
Catman, do you want to share what Amanda Gorman's Twitter handle is? I don't know. I tweeted. No, we love Amanda Gorman. It's the Amanda Gorman on Twitter. Tell her she's awesome.
Yeah, I should follow her, but I don't.
Yeah. Also, Andista1 said someone donated $4.20 because he always donates $4.20.69. That is his thing. That's not even a joke. That is his favorite amount to donate. So when we get that update, then I can go and watch Succession. I have now probably missed the intro to Succession, which if you are a Succession watcher, you know is very important.
So are you DVRing it, or are you watching it live?
Look, I can watch it live. I have HBO Max. I
Oh.
have cable. It's being recorded. It's in the cloud, but I like to watch it live because I like to live tweet and I like to be with everyone else. Like it's like church, but for white fuckery. So, wrap it up. Let's get to this 8,500.
Yeah.
According to Andist, it's possible that the $420 was too cool a number to let the bank donate suddenly. The bank said $420 is too cool too cool an amount for the donation to be simultaneous. So we may have to wait on that to get confirmation.
Or other people could make up the difference. I could go watch Succession, y'all. Come on. Fix racism in Boston.
All right. Yeah.
We getting some numbers?
Not yet. No. I mean, numbers are a crazy thing. They don't just appear. Like they have to, and we're refreshing, and it's just not. Yeah. I mean, Disco Gandalf is doing their best to use their disco magic to get us that number quicker, so Brandy can go and watch people be awful to each other.
I am invested.
We surpassed the goal.
Yes, we did it. We fixed racism. Yes, 8603. All right. This is awesome, y'all. I'm so happy. I'm so excited.
No more racism in Boston. I can't wait to go out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I would in fact like receipts that racism is over in Boston. So let's not get ahead of ourselves, but theoretically racism is over in Boston. But let's not. We all saw election night 2016. I need receipts. Yeah, so it's too soon to call it. Too soon to call it.
We're going to produce all those receipts about the end of racism, and then the rest of us in Boston, everyone in Boston is just going to get to enjoy their November. Brandy, thank you for being my co-host. This was so fucking fun.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad that I did nothing for my community tonight, but hopefully people are calling people. But let's do a little bit for Minneapolis. If you are in Minneapolis, contact someone who is not on Twitter, who is not a regular voter, and tell them do not rank Jacob Fry. Don't. Tell them to rank Sheila or Kate. I don't care in whatever order. Don't rank Jacob Fry. Thank you very much. Please go out and vote. Do the right thing. Vote no, yes. No on question 1. Yes on question 2. Yes on question 3. We want people to have people who care for the community and public safety, and we want housing for everyone else, and a strong mayor is a bullshit amendment. I'm sorry, this is just for Minneapolis people, but a lot of Minneapolis people have been doing the work to end racism in Boston, so I get to have this time. All right, thank you. Thank you for having me. Please come see me at Acme on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, 8 p.m. It's our 30th anniversary at the Comedy Club. Come on down. thank you, Boston. I love you guys at Too Much Bread Studios. I love you so much, even though I think Boston is a very racist city. Anyway, so is Minneapolis. But Boston black people get really emotional over that, so I like to just tell it to them to their face. Except for Tookie. Tookie's awesome. Tookie's like, no, it's racist here.
Okay.
All right, let's go. I'm drunk.
Brandy's going to enjoy Succession. The rest of us enjoy the rest of your nights. According to TVAD, if you're in Boston, it's yes on 1, no on 2, yes on 3. I don't know.
If you're in Minneapolis, no on 1, yes on 2, yes on 3.
Don't get them confused, because it's going to be bad.
Don't vote in both cities. Like, I know some of y'all are
That's
speeding
illegal.
on 90. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's illegal. We don't condone that.
Well, I gotta go. I gotta read my smutty audiobook. Matt's gotta go feed his dogs. Guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for helping us reach our
feed. Share the feed. Donate to all the past comedians and performers. Thank you so much, everyone. It was an honor to be here, and I'm glad you guys considered me. So thanks.
Good night, everybody.